Hello, chat. Really light day today. Kind of sad, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm a little late, as predestined by lifetime and everything in between, you know? Gonna get Tessero on. I'm just trying to catch up, man. Trying to catch up today. Wasn't feeling well this morning, but we're good. We're good. Pop, pop. Damn, homie is zoomed out. Better than nothing. That's the last thing. I need to get Tessero on, and then we are off into the Yap today. Naruto out. I have mixed feelings about the Naruto card game. I love Naruto, but TLDR, I don't love it. I don't love Yu-Gi-Oh. So I try to be pretty tolerant on when I'm doing anything YouTube related or outwardly like other people can look at related. But I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh hater, man. Ugh. So just knowing that it's Naruto, like basically Naruto 2 or Yu-Gi-Oh 2, I'm just like, that's disappointing. But you guys tell me. You guys have to tell me how you feel about Naruto and stuff. The card art looks great. I think Bandai, like, at this point, Bandai knows what they're doing with card art, so I was not shocked that the card art was really good. Obviously, the alt arts and everything, but manga, they even have. I don't know if it's confirmed that that's their like manga art or whatever for the Sasuke Naruto, but those look amazing. I think they look better than the One Piece manga arts, but I know that's like a contentious feeling right now. There's a lot of people being defensive for One Piece because Naruto's coming out for some weird reason, but I think objectively as an art piece, the manga Naruto cards just look better, man. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna get Tessero. Maybe the link's not. Maybe I messed up the link on him. Let's see. Taraso should be on any second. There we go. Hey, bud.
Hello.
It's Tessero. How you doing, Tessero?
I'm doing pretty all right.
How you been enjoying Shambhala? You've been on the TB grind, right? I think that's what I saw you on. But what do you?
Well, yesterday I was streaming TB because I wanted to start playing a bit of TB. I haven't gotten a chance to do so at all, actually.
Okay.
I actually wanted to make VB the deck I played for the format. And then I did play that for like maybe 2 weeks and then realized that the deck is really bad.
In what way? What makes it bad?
Like, really
or what?
mid.
Yeah. Like where is its flaws in your heart? Like why are you having to hop off the deck?
It's a lot. The deck is not consistent enough for where it is in terms of like actual like payoff. You know, you're looking to like get together 2 level 4s to DNA to then swing and go into your 6. And then like the best thing you can do when you do that is to like go into Middle Garuru, and Middle Garuru is a really good top end to go into because of his nice, stun effect. If they ever play or digivolve something, you get to stun something, which is really strong. And then if they try to remove it, you can like decode to like still maintain a board, and
the double decode goes wild in my heart. Like that, the double decode's crazy because both is it the Weregaru? The Weregaru has no. I know it's the Metal Gray.
Inherit has it.
Yeah,
and then Metal Guru himself has it. Really easy to play around is if they have any form of Digivolve, right?
Right, of course, which is only getting more common.
Yeah, and of course, there's other ways to beat decode if you can just delete what they play out afterwards. If you're against TB, Susan doesn't
you don't care. Yeah, it's so gross.
And there's a lot of matchups where it's just like, okay, they out the Metal Garu, my turn. What do I do? My best play is to just assembly another Metal Garu. And in some matchups, it's enough. And quite a few others, it's not enough, right?
Yeah.
And more often than not, I've been finding it that it hasn't just been enough.
Yeah. I kind of, in my testing with VB, I just kind of felt like I've been comparing it very closely to like the modern day Dragon Links. Like when we remember when like Draconic Roar came out, Dragon Links came out, it was a really cool deck. Everyone was excited, but like it was that deck was like either you see Hina or you lose. And that's kind of how I felt about Virus Busters. It was like either you saw the field spell and you get to do all the plays you want to do and it's amazing, or you don't see the field spell and you're just kind of seeing all the flaws in which your deck is designed around without like your main centerpiece actually working out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can still play without Virus Busters the way I've been playing it. It's
sure
you can still make plays, especially Betel Gamma kind of enables most of them because you just use his effect to play your other 4 for cheap, and then you can still get the DNA with Nyaro.
Yeah.
And make your plays that way. But like, there's so many other like small inconsistencies in doing so. Like the big one being that Angelomon, the second DNA target has to be a green or a black, so it has to be either Gato or Greymon.
Yeah.
Like because your best 4s are Betel Gamma and Garu, and they can't DNA to make Angelomon.
Right.
That's that's just another bit of inconsistency in your already inconsistent deck.
No, I get you. What's up, Morgana Kane? Congratulations on getting top 8 at the Sao Paulo regional. I saw that also on TB. Actually, if you guys check out on eggmanevents.com, I actually posted. I meant to make a video. I've just been so busy and like, but I have the top 8 from Brazil up there. 5 out of the 8 decks for TB decks. Believe it or not, is kind of crazy. But I guess not. How do you feel about the current situation and the current meta? Like, I don't think TB is that good to where it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like
you asked me before we got actually from I got rolling, I would agree with you. I would be saying, yeah, TB looks awesome, but then look at it like it would be doing like this well. And to a lesser extent, I'm not like entirely off with that. Like, yes, it's doing super well.
But it's also super popular, right? Like that's kind of where my heart's with it. Yeah.
And like, but like, I wouldn't call it tier 0. It's like, it's not like, it's not like you can only play TB and be the only, like maybe it and maybe one other deck is like competitive. It feels like all the decks that are already doing well, you can still do well with. You just have like another matchup to learn.
Yeah. And then like, it kind of brings in some other matchups too. Like I had a friend who like was able to just bring like with the popularity of TB, there's just random cards and decks that are good again, like Safagamon. Like you just go into a vortex and then it's like, what do they do?
I mean, there's also, what was it? It's the reason why Crossheart won the UK regional.
Like just really good into TB. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's another, like there was the TS Angels list, I think from California that just teched in a Magnamon X, the level 6 becomes immune, the original immune to everything body, right? And that just made a ton of sense when you're playing against the field of this many like Susans essentially.
Yeah. So I think it's nice. I think it's nice that we got a new deck that's strong. You can take it and do well with it, but it doesn't feel oppressive. Like it feels like, at least to me, it feels like you can still beat it, right? Whether it's like you just comes down to like adjusting the way you play, or just like you get like, as long as you have just a better hand or whatever. Like I've heard people say like, yeah, it does, it beats 3M, which was like the last format's Boogeyman,
completely shuts them out of the game. It's crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's what I was going to argue against. It doesn't not entirely shuts it out. Like it's a good matchup for it, right?
For sure.
I think it would be kind of favored for TB. But in my experience, like if either you just draw better than your opponent, right? They just don't see the piece they necessarily need, you can just win, or you can sort of just adjust. Like I know like the big thing that 3M has to worry about in that matchup is Ryugumon, especially off of the the delay option arrives. But like if you sequence it, you can delete the Ryugumon before it gets to stun your BL star. Though doing so requires you to do some like crazy sequencing
I was also
of a bunch of like really specific things, but like you can still do it if you know how to do it.
I was more on the impression too, or at least I feel like the original TB list going around did better into Three Musketeers, and now that TB is trying to adjust for other matchups, they're making themselves weaker into Three Musketeers. Because to me, like, it was the Amaterasu. Like, on your turn, if you went into Amaterasu, dealt with their like options in trash, that would really set them back. Or trash, like, get rid of the Gatos or get rid of like threes, so their Asanas are turned offline, so they can't use their trash as a resource. So all the options they have to be from hand and tucked under. And then like, yeah, on as a defensive play, like they blow your guy up, you go into Ryugu and counter them. And I think people are playing a lot less Ryugus, and I'm definitely cutting back on, or they're definitely cutting back on the Ryugus. I think Ryugu's seen as the worst one outside of Three Musketeers matchup, and then they are cutting back on Amaterasu to leverage more Kaguya's or Kaguya, yeah, the puppet one.
Yeah, Amaterasu is pretty annoying to deal with, but I think again it's something you just have to adjust to as the 3M player. Sure. But it is also really nice as a 3M player that we have this matchup in there that is difficult for 3M and is also pushing down 3M, like down how much 3M is topping, which means that less people are like whining about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like if anyone's gonna whine about anything, there in my heart right now, I'm like, I kind of think it's I would kind of think it's what's it called? This deck in front of us, Glowing Dawn. I feel like Glowing Dawn is like, if I had to pick a best deck right now, it would probably be Glowing Dawn, even though they're not performing to that level. It's just kind of how I feel about it. What do you think? What's best deck for you, I guess?
It is a hard question for me.
It is hard. I agree.
I'm still biased towards 3M. I still think like despite TB kind of like pushing them down, the deck feel like just the way it plays, it just feels the nicest to me.
Oh, okay.
And I still think like it's still like winnable into that matchup again, because there's a lot of variables in play, whether it's like whether or not they see their the exact outs, or whether or not you see your exact outs, or like if 3M is also just a very fast deck in general. You occasionally just sort of like get there first.
Right. Oh, that's true. I just realized this is bears on the other side. For a while, I thought we were probably seeing a what's it called? Like a veggies, like a Ceres, Bacchus, some kind of. And there's Bacchus right there. Which, although I think we are seeing like people tech in different sixes into bears, and I think this list is something.
It could be just like TS box, but with more of a green angle.
Oh, that's true too. There was that TS. I think was it California or San Paulo where we had like a TS box deck and that used specifically the Siren Mon, used Bacchus, and a couple of, I think they didn't use Ceres. They used the classics plus Bacchus plus I think it was like a Diana maybe or something.
Yeah. There was a store regional, a friend of mine had one with that kind of build, the TS box with Bacchus and Ceres, and then I do believe a Bacchus Ceres box build topped in the UK regional. I forgot exactly what place it got.
Oh, it's the UK one. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there it is. It's like, of course, it's down to the bottom of top 16, but it's there.
You'll start best deck on the condition that you are intimately familiar with how to resolve your effect resolutions in your favor. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know.
I'm with that. Maybe I'm biased because I really like 3M.
Maybe. I just feel like I always come from the perspective of like, if you're topping with the deck, you know the deck, right? Like 2 top or 2 win a regional, you have to know your deck. Like someone doesn't like, I always say the word, like the term, like people don't accidentally top, right? Like that would be too, in my heart, that's too dismissive of their achievement, right?
I accidentally topped with Millennium on, as I would say.
Well,
I don't know. I just remember, that like that regional. It was like months ago now, but like I sort of didn't play for 2 weeks. Woke up, decided to play the regional, and topped with the Millie.
Yeah, but that was a deck you were practiced with, right? Like you knew how to play Millie, right? Like you didn't didn't day one Millie that regional, right?
True.
So like I feel I mean
their base sequencing does get kind of complicated.
I think they're like, no, I agree. Beelstar is a complicated deck along with Millie. And then but you don't take that deck to a regional and win not knowing how to play Beelstar, right? Like you have to know, like that condition has already been met. Whether or not like you fully understood every matchup you win against on your run, I think is like a different understanding. Sometimes like I will agree, like understanding your own fundamentals and on your own deck can get you there. And that's maybe why you feel like it was on accident. Like you're just like, oh, I just played into a couple decks. They didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know what they were doing, but what I did was better. So I won.
I mean, it's arguable that like maybe before this format, you could just sort of be like only knowing Beelstar to like a surface level and you can still top, because especially during like last format, Beelstar was like sort of just ignoring everything your opponent does, deleted their board and won. And he just swung, trash all the security, won the game. And like TB now represents maybe one of the first matchups that actually kind of have to like know what they're doing to actually win.
Right. That's fair. Like you can't just walk into a win with Three Musketeers into TB, like, which is your whole point.
Yeah. Not unless you just like get really lucky with just drawing better than your opponent.
God, this Monica is so good into Glowing Dawn, by the way. Like I think that's something that gets overlooked. It's like one of the reasons you're playing the Monica is because it can trip over these Digimon immune bodies.
Looks like one of them froze. Oh,
yeah,
they're back.
How do you feel about TS? Not TS. Oh, excuse me. 26. We're getting a couple more reveals. I think Plutomon's a zombie mode is a mistake. It shouldn't exist in the game. Jesus Christ.
Zombie mode is fine. I think everything about Titans looks fine, but it looks like it's definitely the deck that I'm looking forward to playing the most.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up.
You know, I'm a fan of purple decks through and through. That deck looks very purple. It finally got the card that I think was missing the most in the Cherubimon reveal.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, personally, I feel like a deck always needs some form. It needs a way to win the game, you know? But a deck can be like as grindy and controlly as possible. But like in the end of the day, the win condition is to get your opponent to 0 security and swing.
Right.
So I feel like no matter what your deck does, it needs to be able to do that on a base level, like at some point. So it's nice that that they got the Cherubimon to give you the Resh execute plays,
right?
That you can use and not have to rely on Titus Skelbuluki, because that's such a heavy package to try to fit in with all the other new stuff.
Yeah, no, the Titans got a lot. I like all the cards. The only thing I don't like is Pluto. I feel like I don't know. I've been on a big kick of like Ruin mode needs to be banned from the game. And then like a lot of people used to hate Mirage, and like Mirage needs to be removed from the game. And then like zombie mode comes in and I'm like, it's just more just like punishing your opponent for playing the game type mechanics. I don't like it. Setting your opponent's hand to 4 is ridiculous.
I think setting the opponent's hand to 4 is fine.
Nah, I think it's ridiculous. No way.
This is Digimon. I think most decks can very easily play their game plan with just 4 cards in hand.
No, I don't.
That's a whole line, you know. That's
sure,
3, 4,
but so 5,
like 6.
that's like you said, that's a whole line. So like no tamer, no options to back that up, no nothing, and you have to have the exact line in your hand.
Typically, you get those out before the zombie Pluto comes down.
Maybe.
Ideally,
right? Ideally, right? Well, that's my point, right? Like if they do it early enough, you just reset their hand, or you just like it's like it's yours. Like to me, it's like defending Mirage back in the day. Everyone hated that card. It was unfun to play against.
Mirage is worse because I
think they're the same, man.
Memory gain is infinitely more toxic, because it's one thing to like lose cards in hand. It's another thing to just lose your turn outright, or lose your ability to like actually use the cards in your hand because you lost memory.
Yeah, I mean, you're like discarding the cards is also losing the chance to use them, right?
Yeah, but you just keep the ones that you're planning on using.
I don't know. I think our decks nowadays are too diverse in what tools they need in hand that like I don't think 4 cards is enough personally. I think like the only
Yeah, we'll
deck right
see.
now that can do a full line, like does a full line and doesn't care, is like Jupiter.
Yeah, there's also that. It's like there's sequencing. It's like the issue I've been having with Metal Garu. Metal Garu has a similar trigger where it's just like anytime Digimon are played or Digivolved, and yet I've had people like constantly go, okay, evolve, trigger this, trigger that, out, you know, deal with the Metal Garu before its effect goes off. You can probably do the same with Zombie Pluto.
We'll have to see. By the
No.
way, the new Rosemon can let you steal turn with BT11 Mirage. That's, I mean, BT11 Mirage is an afterthought at this point. It's gone. It's at 1.
Yeah.
I welcome Zombie Pluto as an opportunity for heavy metal to shine. I mean, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe one day. We'll see if the dual card actually does anything, or if maybe we get like we've been getting random pieces of support for older decks like version 3, maybe and Bagra Army. Maybe we'll finally get like another random piece of support for heavy metal that finally makes it playable.
Maybe they might be done with Liberator for a little bit. We'll have to see. Like, there's no confirmation or not if we're gonna get more Liberator support in the future.
I mean, it feels like there's a lot of things that should feel like they would have been done that got random support.
Yeah.
Bagra Army, hello.
Yeah, but isn't Bagra Armor part of Data Squad? No, that's Crossheart. That's Crossheart. Yeah. Sorry.
It's not related to anything here.
You're right. I forgot who the villains in Data Squad are. I thought it was Bagra Army. It's not.
Okay. I guess there's like one vague connection being that Mervamon is from Cross. But like this is not even the Mervamon. This is not even the Cross version of Mervamon in this set.
Yeah, that's fair.
It still feels pretty random.
I mean, Nagamon got that random support too, right? With the Ghoulmon, I think it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So never count it out. I'm enjoying the fact that like in these sets, random support can happen. I really appreciate that. It's a nice surprise factor when it feels like sometimes when these sets have been getting more theme heavy, that like there's like, you know, everything is coming down as the stuff that you're expecting.
I mean, we used to have it. It used to be more like that.
It used to be more like that. So
it used to be more like that, but like there is a part of me that's like, all right, you came out with this card and like it's not gonna do anything. Like it's kind of like fake hope. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Bagra Army player, you got this card and you're like excited, but like you still can't bring that deck to locals. It feels like, right?
If you evolve into a 4 in the back, you can outmost floodgate cards before they can activate, but you have to already be in a 4. Not necessarily. I feel like there's a couple of decks that can just go into 4 and then combo up. A big one being like if you've set up your what's it called? Your Honori already, Jupiter can just easily, you know, go move up your 3, evolve Ageomon, trigger Inori, evolve into Ajochu Blue, D-Digivolve there, Zombie Pluto, and then you don't have to trash your hand.
Deal with it anymore. But
you know, obviously it means that like you have to be playing those specific decks, but like I feel like in general more decks should be designed to be able to play that well, right?
I don't disagree with that. I think that's another talking point, is just like I think there's a lot of people that like when they talk about like not liking Digimon or like the power creep of Digimon is too high, or like a lot of those people tend to be the people that are just like upset. Like, I mean, Digipanda's a criminal of this. He's just like, he's kind of like just upset there hasn't been Greymon tribal deck in a while, right? So it's like, I'm not interested in Digimon right now. But it's like, how much of that is because Greymon's not playable, or how much is that is because like you're just not willing to try to play the new stuff? And then I personally, it's always been a symptom of a ban list style game, which Digimon is, versus rotation. I think a lot of people get in their head like, well, I should be able to play it because it's legal. And it's like, no, things get rotated out regardless of if it's actually rotated out or not.
Yeah, I agree. But gotta learn to be appreciative of the decks that are available to you, which is it just comes down to like people will like or hate a format depending on
if it's a mostly just depending on
if the deck they like is playable or not. So it's like I'm fine with the format because I like playing BL Star. You know, and then I've had formats I didn't like because I didn't like any of the decks. It didn't even have to be a favorite Digimon either. It's like you can learn to love a new Digimon if you just like playing their deck.
I think there's a lot of people that think everything should be playable, but it just isn't that game. I don't think any game, right? Like
Yeah.
any game with
No
a
game is like that.
no game is
What's
like
crazy
that.
is that Digimon gets pretty close. We've had some formats out there in which like maybe like 10 decks are like viable,
The
right?
casual competitive divide getting wider is a very real thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
fair. I think that's just true with power creep though. Like that's an inevitability to me. But
Hmm.
8001, a set filled with fake hope. Was it? I guess
Yeah.
so. I
I
guess in the
mean,
long run, yeah.
there was quite a few decks that did prop out and like start becoming playable after 8001, but there's also just as many decks that like
I didn't.
got a bunch of good support and then didn't do anything.
Mhm.
Poor Gamamon fans, man. They're still
And
waiting for their day.
and they got a wave in EX12 and they still can't break through, man.
Oh my god, poor I know, man. I'm so
Like
bad. It feels
if
so
we
bad to be a
had
Gamamon
on it
fan.
honestly though, if we lived in a time where we had all this Gamma support and the Susan didn't exist, I almost think Gamma would exist, right? Like, cause like the big thing for Gamma right now is they're like on deleting and playing a lot of bodies out. They can swarm the like they're the original like they play like TB plays, like kill your stuff or your stuff dies and you just spit out a lot of stuff, or you're playing, you got this, you get a whole wide board real quick, and then they don't. Like Susan just says no.
Gamma can sit down and let other Ghost game cards get the same level of support Gamma gets. True. Yeah.
Also true.
Yeah, it's even worse if you're not a fan of like a protagonist Digimon, because then it's like you're even less likely to get the support that you're looking for.
I think VB/ME/Gamma, all of that would be way more valid if Susan wasn't a thing.
To an extent.
To an extent, I think
ME
ME
especially.
ME is so close to
Mhm.
like topping every event, and I do agree that it might just be TB that closes it out the whole time.
Mhm. That's the thing I've heard in like conversation when it comes to Susan, is that like Susan as a deck kind of like gatekeeps and prevents decks from being able to make anything that tries to make a sticky board can't in the face of Susan.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and that's been kind of a complaint for Susan, but I've always figured, in my mind, it's always been kind of the case that like trying to make your game plan around making a sticky board is always been kind of flippant, I guess. I don't know the right
It's
word.
like, yeah, you just
But
play
like,
against the one player, like the one deck that
yeah,
can achieve
there's
ruin
always gonna
mode,
be
and
a
then you
silver
just lose,
bullet. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's always like whatever deck that tries to build a sticky board, there's always like a silver bullet to them. And anytime you run into that, or if that silver bullet becomes popular, it's just like you're having a terrible time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's why I always didn't think that ME was going to be anything special, because it is one of those decks that tries to build a hard to out board, a sticky hard to out board.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I'll be playable and you like win a lot of matches, but then you have to just dodge that silver bullet. And unfortunately for them, that silver bullet is Susan, and Susan is everywhere.
Yeah, Susan is super it's so stupid popular right now. Also, like, I don't know, like as much as I play blue decks, I feel like the fact that we don't have like a true blue deck that is meta relevant has allowed the game to like thrive. Like, I don't know, like the game is so much more interesting now that like we're like everybody's sources aren't getting constantly stripped, or like getting around on deletions or when deleted effects. Like blue's such a jerk. Like it's so crazy how uniquely they deal with so many different things.
Yeah, it does feel like blue as a color, no matter what game, tends to get the most toxic effects.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like denial or resource generation or resource stealing.
I don't even know if it's toxic. It's just how blue was designed so differently from the beginning, right? Bounce already countered on deletion from set one, right? Like it was just how it is. And then source strip, like in a game, like just so uniquely counters so many different things. And you see it in the TB versus ME matchup, right? It's just like, oh, I'm gonna play Shaman and I'm gonna strip your egg, and now your whole deck is turned off. Good job. Good luck.
Yeah, just gotta get your machine Dramon out so that doesn't happen, and then
that's true.
Watch as he gets DP minus to 0 by Susan, and you can't even save yourself with chaos because it's still smaller than it's still only 15k.
Yeah, that's why my friend was trying to tech in the Oh, is it the hybrid level 5s, the Daipin and Jetsilphi? I think it's all turns 2k or something they give. So you can break over the 18k, I think Susan puts down from TB. Because you're like you said, I think you're 14 or are you 16 when you're Chaos?
I think he's base 15.
He's base 15, yeah. So then, yeah, the 2Ks would get you there.
Yeah, and you're gonna need something like that because it's like within ME. I think I don't know if I may be recalling correctly or not, but like I'm looking at ME cards and there aren't a lot of DP boost naturally within that archetype.
Yeah, no, you have to tech in some of the older cyborg stuff because, like, funny enough, there is a good amount of like still some old synergy with like cyborgs. Like the deck still kind of has a little bit of that. Like, oh, it's if it's an ME or a cyborg, grab it, or if it's an ME or a cyborg, do this. So there's still a little bit of that. It sneaks in. It's snuck its way in. So you can kind of comfortably fit the cyborg, like some tech cyborgs, if you will.
Yeah. I think I remember I was watching Huang test ME. I know he teched in Metal Mamemon because that has a really good interaction with Chaos Dramon.
And engage, yeah, with engage in specific, yeah.
Yeah. Get that end of turn unsuspend, and you can engage, so you basically get 2 swings.
Aqua just won a TB of what's a TB? What's a TB? A tournament tamer battle of 18 people in China. Nice.
Oh, good for them.
Like Aqua. Oh, that's Aqua. Maybe as in Ryuga.
That's probably yeah. Aqua as an archetype is probably the closest. Is like one of those decks that's I feel like is pretty close. Maybe the closest like mono blue thing to being competitive, but is not quite there, I guess. At least not like it to the extent that people can win, but it's not like something anyone is mostly cognitive as like a big meta threat.
Every now and then a Melga deck will creep up, but it gets shot back down. That's the best we've gone in a minute that I can think of.
I mean, in general, we don't get too many like monocolored decks being successful in right now in the current state of the whole like.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what we get in set design being more archetype.
It was like Medusa Galacti, and
obviously I'm not entirely like.
Yeah, I'm just trying to point out the ones that like maybe still have survived that, and it's like it's mostly the Liberators.
Liberators. Most purple decks more often than not do manage to do it, but like I don't know, with how much like different we're getting so many effects that like so many cards that like get like different forms of protection, and it always feels like your deck is better off when it's able to like splash in alternative forms of removal that the other colors give you access to. Especially, you know, if you can splash in black for the Digivolve or whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see. I think these two are done. I think Glowing Dawn just took it. Or are they playing a game 3? Or maybe it was.
Yeah, we're to focus on the conversation. I've been able to pay attention.
Yeah, I have not. It's the classic here. But actually, while they shuffle up, I'll be right back. I have a drink in the freezer. I don't want to blow up.
Sure thing. Yeah, Tyrant is like a pretty good example of what I was talking about in terms of like a deck that, you know, revolves around trying to stick onto the board with its protections. You know, I always just hate finding the one matchup that actually runs option removal. Especially back then where it was a lot less common. That's the thing with those decks, right? It's like they're never like the forefront of the meta, but you always see at least like maybe 1 or 2 people like, you know, creep their way into like a top 16 with those types of decks because sometimes you just have that run.
All right, let's see. We got altar. Oh, we got an altar for. Yeah, we got an altar for Mervamon come out. That Mervamon card is exciting. Did you used to play Minerva Loop or any kind of deck like that?
Minerva Loop, yes. Like,
how do you feel about the new Minerva or Merva? I guess.
I don't know. This is not a card for any of those decks, as far as I can tell. This is a card for
Iliad.
For TS. Yeah, it's a TS card. It plays out Iliad traits. It's a very similar effect to the existing Minervamon, but from trash this time. Yeah, and or trash. Up to 8 play cost total. So
oh, is it hand or trash?
Yeah, it says hand or trash. And then the big thing is like it plays up to 8 cost total, so you can play your Homeros and a level 3 for a search. Or you can like play a level 5 off of this. Like let's say Ajojusman Holy seems like a really good target.
That's true.
And it gives you more keywords compared to the other Minerva, but it's missing the on deletion, which I think is maybe one of the more annoying aspects to
kind of
play
important
around
right now. Absolutely. Although
when it comes to that Minerva, so it's really interesting.
Although, I mean, like you said, Holy gives you the immunity to DP minus, right? And then yes. Mervamon here is giving everything a plus 2k. And then on top of that, you're like you said, you can probably get Homeros down. So a 1 Homeros plus this Minerva, that's plus 3k on your board. You're sitting at 16. So you only need a little bit more to like get over Susan, I guess. But that might be a ridiculous.
I mean, in general, if you get DP minus protection, you're not worried about Susan. But then like you still get that's it, right? You only have the protection from those effects. You're still going to get sent to security by Susan's effect.
Not if you have. Oh, can you still get? Oh, I guess it only stops you from getting bottom decked and bounced to hand. That's the thing. Right?
It's like you're trading some protections for others. If you have Minerva, which has the on deletion, but you're still going to like get like de-digivolved or bottom decked or something, and if you go into Minerva to try to protect yourself. You're going to lose the on deletion, and now you just lose the deletion.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's still like a really cool card in general. I like the that the cost reduction
is an assemble effect. Instead of a conditional thing. Yeah, I do like that
exactly. Because it means like you used to like need to like either move up your guy from the back or set up your Homeros or something, which is not like a big issue if you want to just do that to get your Minerva played. But like just getting, I mean, I guess in TS there aren't a lot of ways to like, cycle. But it is cool that you can just have it be that way. So like if you're missing your tamers, you can still like slam your Minerva to establish a board.
You can still play Siren. This guy's camera is.
Oh, Siren is a good one.
This guy's camera is going crazy. I'm not doing that, Chad. That's just this guy's camera.
Like people were playing Bacchus to get Siren out in TS box. If maybe you can swap that out for the new Mervamon, and then also then have like the flexibility to also just evolve your Minerva into Merva and have Alliance for more aggression. Well, Bacchus's Alternates effect also comes up here and there, so maybe you wouldn't necessarily cut out Bacchus, but like, it's an option. It's cool. It's another way to get Siren out for extra protection. Which I guess gives you like that, the deletion protection you would be lacking.
I'm going to play another Tapier. I think we're like, dang. Oh, what a search. After just searching a Mervamon, all those, we got to learn how to shuffle better. All those Mervamons back to back. I think it was like 3 or 4 Mervamons technically in consecutive searches.
I've had this problem too, where my foils just tend to like clump up in my deck. And it always feels like that I just see the foils one after another.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's normal. I think no human is a robot when it comes to shuffling their deck. I think everyone's got a little bit of a pattern, a little bit of sweat grease. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, when I go to a tournament, like, I'm probably changing out my sleeves after round 5 or something, just to like stay fresh.
For me, I feel like my deck shuffle is better the
more used the sleeves are.
Yeah. The more worn in they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm the opposite.
Like lately, my Bielstar deck has been shuffling pretty nice, and I've been having pretty solid hands with that. And it's like those are sleeves that have been, I think, have been holding that my 3M deck since BT. Which one was it? World Convergence.
Was it World Convergence where we got the updated support, or that's just when you put in those sleeves?
Yeah, that was when they got Satella and Scopemon.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. That's when they got Satella. So, yeah, I remember now. We're a bit of ways. Like I remember, like when it's so funny to me because like I think was it like I guess we could say like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, people were like freaking out. Oh, Bielstar's so good. How dare they give him like, I can't believe this deck is going to get even more support with the Gundramon Ace, or not, the Gundramon dual card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that card doesn't come out till November. I think we're okay, chat. And
yeah.
And lo and
But
behold,
kind of nice for people who like the deck, that as the deck is probably going to get even more like matchups that are difficult for it, that they have at least something potentially keeping it back into the fold.
Yeah, I mean, 3M's still good. It'll still get tops, and it's still getting tops and stuff. I think it just gets pretty pushed out by TB right now.
Yeah, I know we've seen that. Who have, invested a lot of money into playing it. It would be nice for them to have their deck be at least a little bit more relevant for a bit longer.
I feel like someone like you who already had their Beelstar X's, you were chilling, right? Like the Beelstar ended up being really easy to pick up. The whole line was pretty easy, unless you like, obviously alt arts are a different conversation, but like baseline.
Rewarded for my copium.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I picked those up during World Convergence when I thought the scope and Satella would make that deck something.
It kind of did. It was kind of all right. I think it was.
No,
it wasn't. I guess. Trying to remember World Convergence. World Convergence, like I mostly remember like Adventure. I remember the Hero OTK deck. And I can't really remember what was super relevant.
I think the big thing was this is when people were starting to realize. We got Megidramon in that set, and then people playing Megidra, and then slowly started to realize, wait, why don't we just cut the Megidra and start just playing Growlithe? And then Growlithe loops started getting popular, and then people started realizing, and then from there, Phoenixmon.
Right.
And then those decks were like the shit up until the ban list.
Yeah, you're right. That's how I remember it now. It was like a ever developing situation. I think there was like a moment where like I know Royal Knights was also relevant because they got the new Cool Boy, the new Omekamon. I think that was around then as well.
That was like a set before, but yeah, they stayed relevant since.
Okay. Or was that a set after? No, I don't remember.
I've been talking about how Beelstar feels like it's on the back burner right now. Just people just telling you you're wrong, TB. It's like a little bit of both, right? We both have like, I think Beelstar is still strong and still really, really good to play. But at the same time, TB is pushing it, like, putting a force on it, I guess, right? Which I think is a good place to be in, where your deck is still strong, but people are no longer bitching and moaning about it. It's no longer public enemy number one.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's the best place to be in.
I think people, speaking to low key meta and your friends, I think people underestimate like a deck can be good, but like there's a difference between being a good and having like a solid game plan, and then like translating that into a tournament run. And like what we're talking about, it's like people are playing TB. That is a hard matchup. So now you have to go 9 rounds. 4 of those are probably going to go TB, and a single loss already puts you out, is going to potentially puts you on, the bubble of like not getting top 16, right? And that's usually when would like, at least for people like me with Eggman Advance, like we're just like after top 16, you don't like, I'm sorry, but like you don't exist, right? Like, tough to say, but like you get what I mean. So it's like X2 is still like a good run, but you don't exist. So it sucks. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with you. It's like after top 16, your deck is not recorded. So what no one knows. No one knows what you did.
I know that what's the one website?
Right, it does feel better having that against like Kaguya, but I've been able to like deal with Kaguya just by having Asuna play out a rookie to eat the effect as well.
TB, because the best tool against TB 3M is Beelstar counter, but you get Susaned most of the time, right? I guess you have to set up before they try to do that like swing my level 5 play, but even then.
That's the thing. It is true that Beelstar counter can like helped against like the early turns in that matchup, because it's like, oh, you need to execute to like check to then trigger Shishima for the evolution, but like that's only really for that specific play. I think there's a whole good reason why the lists that are like higher up for the TV lists that are high up on the placements have cut out like Kunlun's Imperial Decree for more of the field spell.
Yeah.
Because the field spell is crazy and it helps you play around the counter better than anything, right?
Absolutely.
You just evolve up into your 5, execute swing, and then instead of having to rely on a sec check to evolve into your 6, you, when attacking, evolve into your 6 and then deal with the BL star and not to deal with the counter.
Maybe 2 of the rounds you look out into TB, but I don't think it can consistently outpace it for that many rounds. Yeah, and that's kind of our point. I wish we would get lower down reporting on events. It would really show what rogue decks have maybe some potential. Shamaz, I feel you, but man, I got someone on the inside. It gets so painful to even just get top 16, man. Like from Oceania, I only ever get the top 8s, and it's from a Facebook picture. It's like a picture on Facebook is how I get my top 8 from Oceania. So like it's such a tough, and like we're not a leader game. And one of those and why that's relevant is that on a Windows spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet for a One Piece tournament, it's so easy. There's a whole column showing you every single leader, and you're just like, great, import whatever. For a Digimon tournament, if you do somehow get all the data from the tournament, you then have to go in and manually look at 300 plus deck lists and label all of them to try to get that kind of data. And I gotta tell you that it's not worth it.
we might have to like as a game, like start like reporting our deck name more consistently. That an issue with that too is that we don't even have consistent deck names for our decks, right? Like what do we call? There's been like how many different names for the TS Toolbox deck? People have called it TS Slop,
TS 12, TS Slop, TS Toolbox. Yep. I think there was a war as to what we were calling the Marsmon deck. Like I was on Brother Bear. I think there was Super Bear Bros. But even that, I don't know if that would help, like getting consistent there, because it's not like you type in your deck name. I guess you do type in your deck name on TCG Plus. I forget, but
telling people to self-submit is a crapshoot. But like at least for like events that are like on, let's say, major events are still using Bandai TCG Plus. There's no like deck name submission, and like even the deck name submission would be because we help a little bit when isn't that great. It'd be nice if there was like a name drop like a name drop down or something like that. But even then you need to have like official names for all the decks. And like, what if you're playing a deck that's outside of the mold, right?
That still doesn't capture that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you could be you could be a TB deck, but you could be completely different. That somehow, like that's just an example. I don't know if TB could pull that off, but the heart of the point.
Even look at the games we're watching. We're watching TS Box, but like this is very different from a lot of TS Box.
Right, there's no Sylphie in sight, right?
No Sylphie. I mean, Sylphie has been cut out lately a lot. But I think the big thing is that it's a lot more green than a lot of the TS Box we've seen before. We see Floramon and Paradise Coliseum. Those are not super typical because people are more focused on like I think like Alekmon and like Lunamon are more consistent searchers for most people.
I don't think they're playing a real game, but I think they froze.
I think one of them froze. Yeah, one of them froze. Usually, I also do like the hand waving thing whenever someone froze, just to make sure it's like, is it me? Can you see me wave my hands?
Yeah. Let's see. Sometimes people will wave their hands. It was like, this isn't a game. Don't look at me. And I'm like, all right, I won't stream you. I'm sorry. But I think this is the only match still going now at this point.
I guess since, OP does have like an advantage there because, you said there's leader cards. Since names won't really work because a drop down menu would be like maybe the most consistent and easy way to go about it. Maybe like if say TCG Plus made you pick like the key card of the deck, but even then people would like, I don't know.
We're trying to look into that for Eggman
to make it more vague.
Yeah, we're trying to do that for Eggman, and specifically like deck submissions and stuff for UA and Digimon, because all the other games it's like you pick your leader and you pick and Gundam as well. You pick your leader and like that's it. That pretty much tells you what the deck is. In our games it's like, well, like I think we've locked on to like, okay, you pick a super rare and then you can pick up like a backup super rare. So like if you had to pick 2 super rares or secret rares or whatever, like 2 cards to represent your deck, I think narrows it down a lot better than just that single one like you're saying. If you do 2, that kind of can get the point across for a lot of people. So we'll see. But even then it's like, for like to your point, like with the TS slop decks, I have a hard time of like, well, what do I use on the pie chart? I've used like Dan and Kanan, and then I've also used like Homeros, and those both those cards are greatly used.
Yeah. I like Homeros. I think that's like a
Homeros
like
makes
the big ones.
Homeros makes sense. For TB, I've been using like you can't. I don't feel like it's right to use Susan because of all the keywords. So, but like I also don't think it's correct to use Amaterasu, Kaguya, or Ryugu. So I've been using the option, the rival.
Is perfect because it's all 3 of them on the card art.
But it being an option, it becomes weird for the pie chart because the picture is smaller on an option. I've still used the option, but I just had this recent issue for the Brazil event, São Paulo event, where TB took up so much of the pie chart that it was just almost impossible to fit the option card in the size of the pie chart. So I ended up using the egg. I was like, the egg that gets it done.
Sure.
Yeah.
It would feel like going into like Photoshop and like stretching out the.
Well, it gets so bad. You can. That's what I do. Like that. Like the whole time it's Photoshop, but it's like it gets so gross if you stretch it too much, right?
The images we have aren't like, I guess,
high
quality enough for it to be stretched that much.
Yeah, and also like you're trying to, because now Digimon cards have sample on them, so like you're trying to like organize it in a way where you're also not getting just like sample red all over the thing. It's it's tough. Are these guys going again? What's going on?
No, we're in round 2. We're in round 2.
We're in round 2.
Different players.
Oh, this is 2. Cool.
Yeah. Is it 2 different players? It's we went from Miguel and Arthur, and now it's Loki and Miguel. So Miguel is still here, and now we have Loki.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just watch more Toolbox. That's fine. I'm chilling. I think it's like 3 rounds today because it's only like 8 people showed up or something like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think it's a little turnout, but I think it's because most people who would be here are like
also Gen Conning, right?
In Gen Con, yeah. Then they just announced that Moss won the regional.
Did he? Oh, what? Oh, I need to see if I can get those lists.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Gen Con, but like within the announcements channel here, it says right here, congrats to Moss for winning regionals today. And I'm assuming the only
that was today. The Digimon regionals today at Gen Con. Yeah.
Nice. Congrats to him.
My friend Tyler also was able to get their invite, so that's exciting. He was putting in a lot of practice in earlier. Oh, I hope I get those socks. I hope the top 16 comes out eventually for that. I'd love to see that so I can yap about that. What did Moss play? Do we know what Moss played?
I don't know. I haven't looked into what's happening in Gen Con at all. Like I said, I only know because of the announcement Michael made in the announcements channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it looks like Loki today is playing Ping Pong Alter S. That's another deck that people have other names for it. Some people call it ping pong. Sometimes you just call it DNA Alter S or just DNA Omni.
I've been calling it Chinese Omni personally, but that's a little racist, I guess.
I'm not the only one to give names like that. I know some of my friends like to call, because remember there was a time where Levi was winning a lot of events in China.
Right.
So people were like, I saw as a couple of friends calling Levi a Chinese crocodile or Chinese deck.
That's funny. Wish there was a stream, but Gen Con's not known. Gen Con's known for a lot of things, and one of those things is not internet. So I think Gen Con has a big internet issue because I don't think they could support that much bandwidth because it's a board game. Like everyone would want to stream anything and everything at Gen Con, and I don't think they'd be able to pull that off. QQ, how big?
Asking, how big is the TCG computer in the United States? It's actually fairly large, I would say.
In Mexico, it used to be big, but at some point this year, the popularity started to decline. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I would say we're still on a decline, unfortunately, but
I think that's just the trend for the current moment. I think people are just waiting for a big reason to come back in. Maybe just not a fan of the way the current meta has been shaking out. I think there's a big wasn't there a big influx when 2024 and the Beat Break decks came in, because I think Beat Break was pretty popular and it was a lot of people came in for that.
Yeah, I felt like we were on an up with Beat Break coming out, but it looks like it settled back out.
I think we were just settling from that. So maybe another big set like that's really popular could revitalize. Maybe that could just be Elysian. Elysian is coming to near the end of the year, and since it's a phone games and phone games are really accessible, that could be the big push.
I also think people are just leaving card games. I'm not hearing about people leaving Digimon to play another card game, really. I feel like it's people are leaving Digimon and are done. Where before it was I'm leaving to play One Piece and those people would come back, or I'm leaving to play Fusion World or Gundam or Union Arena, and then a lot of those people came back. But it's every game that comes out is slowly chipping away at us. And I think that at the end of the day, we'll see. I'm not worried, but I don't know.
In my opinion, maybe I'm biased because of my own opinion, but I've never left Digimon for another game, and it's because I like Digimon specifically as a franchise. I always felt like Digimon mostly attracts people who are like that, who play Digimon because they like Digimon, right? So there aren't a lot of people who would be, at least the people who are left. A lot of people who would have left because they want a different game have already done so for One Piece. So the people who are left are the people who are ride or die.
No, I agree. I don't think we're bleeding out. I think if someone's quitting Digimon, to your point, I think if someone's quitting Digimon at this point, it's they love Digimon, but the card game is too much for them, or they just got other shit to do. But at the same time, it's there's when Digimon came out versus now, there are there's so many more card games now, man. It is.
That we had a bit of a bubble at one point.
We were the only new card game when we came out, right? It was Dragon Ball came out, and then it was a couple years later they were oh, let's do Digimon, and we were the only one on the market, and so everyone flocked as when Yu-Gi-Oh was in its worst state it's ever been. And Pokemon hadn't blown up in price yet, like it has, and even then, that doesn't affect us.
So the people who would have left because they were only here for when Digimon was new and fresh, were I think I feel what we have left are the people who were already going to just stick around, right? I think the people who would have left have already done so. So I feel there's no some people might fear maybe Naruto might take a piece of the Digimon pie. I feel if someone would have left for Naruto, they would have left a while ago for another game.
Maybe. I'm pretty hyped for Naruto. Might be an IP I like more than Digimon personally, but after today's reveals of how Naruto's played, I don't know if I want Yu-Gi-Oh 2. I don't know. Naruto is a little too close to Yu-Gi-Oh 2, and man, do I hate Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Oh, am I upset? What does Schmaz think? I think card games are in a bit of a bubble. I agree, but I don't think we agree in the same sense. So I'll explain myself in a minute. But I actually think the players are pretty solid in on Digimon. Yeah, I think that's just agreeing with our point that like if you're playing Digimon at this point, it's probably because you just love Digimon or you just love our card game. Because I still think, regardless of anything we've just talked about, Digimon's still the most fun card game. As somebody who has explored the other card games as they've been coming out, Digimon's still the most fun for me. Like the tournament cards I win in Digimon worth. Oh yeah, no. If we're talking about the worth of winning a regional or something, yeah, no. Digimon has not been worth it for a minute. Riftbound is worth it. One Piece has been worth it. Like that is just something that has been true. So it's not something I try to talk about too much. In any other game, no one is
seeing Digimon for anything like that. So the people we have left are the people who love the game.
Like people are playing this game for the love of the game. They aren't here for money. Yeah, no, I agree. Exactly. But anyway, card games being in a bubble. I don't know if it's in a bubble and like we got to define bubble. It's more of like, because like coming next year, there are like 5 or 6 TCGs coming out. Yeah. No, that might be a bubble. Like those games will fail because there's just not enough players for those games. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I agree that we're in a bubble. I feel like we have been getting a huge influx of new games all the time. Bandai especially is like contributing heavily to this. And if you just look at Naruto, we have 2 card games now because we have both the Bandai Mythos one and this other Mythos one. And I feel like there's also more like Kickstarter projects and stuff that are being pushed out, like self-published indie card games. So it feels like, it almost feels like how it was in like, say, like the early 2000s, where it feels like every franchise in the world was getting a card game because they were all trying to get in on the hype.
That's what it feels like. But I don't know if that's a bubble or a rush, right? Like, I feel like, because like a bubble implies like if it pops, like suddenly they're not going to make Digimon anymore. Suddenly like, you know what I mean? Like, so like right now, like the issue we have is there's a lot of new card games coming out and everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie. But it's like, okay, if Pow World fails, if Cyberpunk fails, if Hellbreak fails, if My Little Pony fails, does that mean Union Arena stops? Like, right? Like, I don't know if it's like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it would still count as a bubble if it pops and like most of these card games go to the wayside and we still have like, there's always going to be the survivors.
Right.
Fingers crossed that Digimon ends up, rising from the rubble and pushing forward because, like we said before,
we're here because we want to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a bubble before in like the early 2000s that everybody wanted to get in on having the piece of the TCG pie, and every franchise out there had their own card game. And, years later, what came out of that rubble, we still have Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, MTG, and a couple of others that are still exist from that time.
I think, well, I guess at the end of the day, honestly though, like I feel like if, let's say we are in a bubble and it pops, I think Digimon's bubble proof, mostly because it's like we've been saying, like the people playing Digimon just like the game. We're not here. Most of us aren't here for like monetary gain and stuff. Like obviously the cards have value, but it's not like no one's sitting there ripping packs chasing value. We're just trying to enjoy our game. Hot take, conspiracy theory, Bandai is not killing Digimon. I agree. Wait, I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think Bandai's trying to kill Digimon. I don't think like you have the rest of your comment, but a lot of people like to hate on Bandai for coming out with all these card games and say that they're self-cannibalizing. I think they're just doing smart business. If they don't come out with a new card game, somebody else will. And I already have my proof in Naruto. They took too long to come out with a Naruto card game. Somebody else did it, right? Like straight up. If you don't do it as a company, someone else will. Someone else. If you don't keep your own players in like it, they would rather make a new game and keep those players in their own games then someone else come out with the One Piece card game and then they don't get any money from those people, right? Like you got to think of it in like a bigger business sense. But the rest of the comment is it's just making its players hate it or straight up dropping it. A lot of people I know are shifting to Yu-Gi-Oh. I know a lot of people are switching to Riftbound.
I disagree.
But
I think that might just be like you and your friend circle, because it's like what are you arguing that like the current sets are bad and are making people leave the game? Because I don't agree with that. And so I think that's just like perspective, right? I think
people are leaving for Riftbound, though. There's a lot of money in Riftbound. Like if you're money oriented,
there's a lot of money in Riftbound, though. It's like so if you're leaving for that, it's because you had a specific purpose for it. Like I don't think Bandai is purposely making Digimon sets feel terrible just so that people would quit. I think they're doing a fine enough job with designing the sets so far, especially as of late.
I like this.
Obviously, that's my perspective because I like it. If you obviously don't like the way that they're handling the recent sets, then maybe you would think that way, that their Bandai is purposely making them bad so people would quit for Naruto or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat of like I kind of like right now. I've talked with Chad about this before. Right now, I consider us like in the TS block, right? Like everything in this block has been kind of like all TS oriented, blah blah blah, supporting this archetype, supporting this like game, and all these pieces kind of swap in and out of each other, kind of fun and kind of cool. Obviously, there's like, because a big complaint people have is also like, oh, archetype games come out. Oh, this is an archetype deck game. Like, oh, your deck is pre-planned for you as it releases day one, right? But like, I wouldn't say that's true for TS or like all the amount of options all the TS decks are getting. Like, you can kind of you have like so many cards that can be shifted around in these TS decks and really make it your own. And I think it's because of like we're in a TS block of sets. As soon here after 26, I consider us moving into like a Royal Knights / X Antibody block, and like we know that's true because we're getting not only a Royal Knights set, but we're getting a X Antibody set that's going to support Royal Knights and et cetera, et cetera.
And then going into Demon Lords and then finishing up the X&T Chronicle storyline with a Gudo X at the end of the block.
So that'll be interesting when we go into that block, and if there's a block after that, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, a little bit back on Naruto, like
Lost Digimon, last 3 meaning we have slot trait decks. You say all those things as if those are bad things. Those are not necessarily bad nor good things about the way the designs have shifted. It's just different, right? It's just different.
I agree. There's a lot of comments on the by.
The longer you play a Digimon like Black Orc X, Off Force, Melga, etc., yeah, there are still decks that do that. You know, I'm literally playing Beelstar the deck as my main deck.
Well, over and under, do you consider Beelstar a TS deck? Because I don't personally. Just because the cards say TS doesn't mean their TS is a TS deck, in my opinion. But
I mean, because that definition is vague, because it's like it depends on what you even consider, how you define a TS deck. Because there are cards in there that, because the deck is heavily TS traded, that I'm able to like flexibly run. Like the deck, my version I currently am running the one copy of Talisman because there's enough TS synergies that I can do that. It can evolve over Satella because he's black, and he can evolve over Lady Devi because it's TS. But like, it's not the same deck as say TS Olympus Control.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree with you. That's why I was bringing it up. I think Beelstar is like very interesting when a lot of people talk about that kind of thing. Funny you mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh, because the new Naruto game is I've been calling it Naruto 2027. I've been calling it Yu-Gi-Oh 2. I'm kind of sad that the new Naruto game is just, I don't want to say ripping off, that's not fair, but it's literally, to me, it's like if Yu-Gi-Oh was designed for the 2027 card player TCG player base, that's what Naruto is. Cool. And I think it's cool that
Bandai is making a new game, but it actually is different from like the way the rest of their games play, right? I think it would be worse if they made Naruto come out and it plays like it had another like Dawn system, or not Dawn system, but like, you know, we have One Piece, and then after that Gundam, and both of them use like
I was really hoping for another memory gauge game. I'm gonna be real. Like I think that's my big thing.
But like I still think it's cool that we have like a third thing besides that. Like
That's true.
This Yu-Gi-Oh adjacent thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like I think there's like a potentially a marketing grab for that, and people who are interested in a game that plays similarly to Yu-Gi-Oh but more more reined in.
Just didn't have to be my IP, you know. It just didn't have to be Naruto. You do that with like
maybe
I don't know, Spy Family, man.
Enough, right? maybe it'll be different enough that it'll be lacking the things that you don't like about Yu-Gi-Oh. Like if it's like the long ass turns, because you have like the character card and chakra system that are probably rating in how long those turns are, or whatever else that you don't like.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe we'll see. Though I will say the one there's like a tangential complaint of like I do like that like we're going to like Naruto will have like a flat number as your life instead of like, you know, cards and security and stuff. However, that makes webcam harder, like commentating webcam games a little hard, which is a little rough, but that's okay, I guess.
Unless people do the what was it, like the calculator and or phone thing where
not everyone does that though, but I get you. It probably won't be as bad as I think it is for that specifically.
Yeah.
There's a chance that OG Edison Champion worked on the initial design of the Naruto TCG. That's good. I'm glad that
I've heard that rumor as well from some of my friends that like someone Yu-Gi-Oh adjacent helped work on the game, which is probably partly why it is that way.
Yeah, but I've talked about this to you to chat before, but I'm like, I don't like the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh the player base of Yu-Gi-Oh actively tries to play old Yu-Gi-Oh just means that Yu-Gi-Oh's bad. I don't know. Like I like the idea of classic formats, or like, for example, I'm like not looking forward to Elysian since it's gonna be BT4 from what we've saw so far. Like obviously like we've seen hyper beta stuff, but like the idea of going back to BT4 does not excite me, for example.
Well, for one, it's like, you know, if people complain about this format, it'd be nice for people to understand where we came from.
Sure.
For one thing, it's like, so it's nice to have like a kind of a soft reset, especially because Elysian is the game is a lot less complicated back then. It'll be nice for people who are new to
get a chilled out version of the game.
That's fair. And the second theory, they're adding new cards that will shift things up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's still the spirit is this. I feel like the spirit of Elysian is like still like very much like we're going back to BT4, right? Like, sure, there'll be some changes. Obviously, like players have gotten better since then, so that you can always have that argument. But like the spirit of it is you're going back to BT4, regardless of if the meta will be slightly shifted or not. Yeah. Which is just something I don't like in general. Like, for example, you know, World of Warcraft Classic, old school RuneScape, none of that stuff interests me. Bandai has become a turn 2 OTK. I agree in that sentence is like there are a lot of turn 2 OTKs and Bandai should immediately address those. If Bandai immediately addresses the turn 2 OTK stuff, Digimon is going to be one of the coolest games. We are going to see the best meta we've ever had. If we literally keep the same decks we have now and the playstyles we have this moment, but somehow are able to scalpel out the ability to turn 2 OTK people, this game would be perfect. Right now, personally.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in general, outside of like going against Angels, there aren't too many OTKs because like we all know that. Like,
I think Jupiter has one. Beelstar has one, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Beelstar has one, and you said Jupiter.
I think Jupiter has one.
I haven't seen Jupiter do a turn 2 OTK.
I think it's specific. Like, I think it's like a specific route.
Has one too. But that's the thing. These decks, they can, but they generally almost don't outside of like extreme circumstances where their hand is like giga cracked, and the opponent maybe has to pass them like a certain amount of memory, which I think. You know, I think makes it so that like people like partly like overstate I don't know what the right word is, but like overblow the whole like turn to OTK problem, because it's like it's possible, but it actually doesn't happen in as many games as you would expect it to for it to be that problem, except for against Angels, because Angels doesn't do anything else besides turn to OTK.
I agree.
Which is why it's like, even though it's like not the deck that's like the most topping, I still think it's like the #1 target for me on the ban list. Specifically Nyaruman, and it kind of goes into like another thing I kind of wanted to point out. Green Hill Mario in all caps talking about how colors are kind of the worst aspects of TCGs, and people don't understand what makes Magic's color system work.
I agree.
I kind of want to have this conversation that like the fact that Digimon is moving away from colors and towards archetypes might actually be a good thing, and maybe a lot of the problems we are having might come down to colors to an extent. I think I've had this conversation before where a lot of the things that get limited and probably will continue to get limited are stuff that's like giga generic, stuff that like works for like everything in the color.
BT1 so, like, Magna Angemon for a long time. I'm like, I would not be surprised if this card gets hit, bro. Generic on play heal one. That's gonna go one day, bro. I'm telling you.
We've seen like the option cards that gain you memory get limited. We've seen Doberman and Cerberus X being like, you know, the best generic purple engine get limited. What people are talking about, it's the reason why I think Nyaruman is going to be limited, because he's generic. Any yellow deck can run Nyaru and gain like free memory, basically. It always feels like it comes down to like anything a color can just generically run and get free memory value from is always broken. And it always just comes down to what feels like the way that the decks have been shifting away from color identity might actually be to the game's benefit and not to the game's detriment, even though people like to complain about it. And it's just like, I think people complain about it because it's something noticeable as a shift, and they just wanted to find something to like find what it is, the problem that they're trying to figure out what it is about the game that they aren't vibing with, and so they're trying to like hone in on like what is different from before, and that's like one thing that's obviously different from before.
No, I agree. 100% agree with you. Shinsen Gumi, Beelstar, Taida, Mars, and Grace Nova are not TS. I agree. Well, maybe not Marsbon. I don't know if I agree with Marsbon, but the rest of what you said, I definitely agree with, like without question. Digimon should never have had colors, because retrofitting colors to an existing art. Oh, that's what you say. You're kind of talking about that.
Yeah, like I more or less agree, right?
I generally agree. I've never cared about colors. I don't think anyone's does it as good as Magic anyway. So like colors tend to be pointless. And they've become pointless. I can agree that they've kind of become pointless at this point. And honestly, I'm happy we are moving away kind of from it, kind of like what you said. There's a market for design. There's a market for design modernized Yu-Gi-Oh. Listen.
Yeah,
if you like Yu-Gi-Oh, great, awesome. Not saying you're not allowed to have that. All I'm saying is I love Naruto. I was looking forward to a Naruto card game, and they turned it into the #1 card game that I hate. So that's why I feel the way I feel. It's not really like that's as far as it goes. I was hoping for Chrono Clash personally. I was expecting like a memory gauge plus like a Union Arena action point like system with the tropical cards, but we'll see. I will try. I'm still gonna get a case of Naruto. We're gonna try Naruto. I'm gonna push Naruto on the channel if I actually do enjoy it, but I'm definitely like, listen, my worst experiences in this game have been from Yu-Gi-Oh, or from TCGs, have been solely from Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm still hurt from them, man. I'm not a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh players in general, man. So that is my truth. But if you like Yu-Gi-Oh and you're excited for Naruto, it being Yu-Gi-Oh and it being the thing you wanted, it like the best thing ever, great. I do not hope that it fails. If that's what you want to hear from me. A new format like Commander or something, informal fun to help revitalize the TCG, revitalize Digimon. I mean, if we could figure out a cool casual format or Commander format, we might have enough cards to pull that off finally. Star Wars just did it. Star Wars has done an official Commander format for their game, and it's the most fair Commander you will ever play in your life. If you enjoy Commander, chat, listen to me. Try the Star Wars Unlimited Commander format. They have starter decks. Go look for them. They're like $40 or something. The normal price of a Commander deck in Magic, honestly. And like you will play the most fair game of Commander in your life if you try it. I promise you won't be, unless you really hate Star Wars or something. Edison and Goat wouldn't exist if there weren't people fiending for that kind of game. For sure. Like again, I
think that we get it. It's like the reason why you hate it is because you personally have a vendetta against Yu-Gi-Oh, and then you didn't want Naruto specifically to be Yu-Gi-Oh adjacent. But we all agree that like it was kind of a smart business move from Bandai to like try to make a Yu-Gi-Oh-esque competitor, especially since it further makes it so like it makes sense to have it in the
library of Bandai card games.
Right? They're in a huge library of games, right? Like we complain that Bandai has too many games. At least to an extent, some of them are different. I mean, I feel like some do play a little too similarly to others, but it's nice that if they're going to have a large library, that they're going to be different from each other.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's fair. Well, that player still plays Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! He topped with an unknown road deck just this year. I see. Wow, 3 Searcher rookies played. That's a week 6 memory turn. Yeah. Bandai is capitalizing on a market. Rush duels would have been the Yu-Gi-Oh! For Edison and Goat Ninja. Majority of people that complain about Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't play Goat or Edison in the same way that people complain currently. Digimon only want to complain and are not happy, especially when their explicit wishes happen, but they're not exactly. Just like classic stuff is how I see that. Sometimes it seems that 5 values are not enough. 5 values, like 5 colors. I mean, current meta is so fast.
Probably means 5 memory.
Oh.
Maybe, and again, we're not paying enough attention to the game at hand because we're having our own little, I guess, pseudo podcast.
Only Naruto TCG back in 20. Yeah, I know a lot of people miss the original Naruto card game. Like to this day, I always hear about it. Digimon needs to stop supporting the same 10 decks, and I kind of agree with that. But they also kind of are moving away from the 10 decks. Those 10 decks are always changing. It feels like.
It just feels that way because they keep trying to do things in waves, right? They started doing Appmons, so every set has an Appmon, and now it feels like we have endless Appmons. And then
every set had a Liberator
for a while,
right?
Yeah, but now Liberators ended, and now they're doing it with TS. So that's something what I'm enjoying about some of the newer sets is that they do try to slip in support for random other stuff. Like we got the random Bogger Army card and the random version 3 stuff. So like, maybe you would get what you're looking for, Ryan. It just might just come in the more like unexpected way, right? I also really want to get Edamon support. That's a deck concept that I was a really big fan of. I really quite like the Edamon stuff from like, what was it, EX5, right? The new metal Eda that pops Tamers and like plays out Sukamons and then like redirects attacks to your security. Then, you get to put like stuff on top of your security for them to check into. That shit was peak. I really hope that they will eventually support that. And I think they will. It just has to be like eventually. I think maybe one day, and we might get like a line in a random set somewhere because he isn't like unless they do another adventures themed set, he's not like a big forefront character generally speaking. But
how many decks did we get Omnimon adjacent cards?
I know everyone likes to complain that there's like an endless wave of Omnimon. We're gonna get even more because we're gonna get
the Royal Knight sets, X-Antibody and stuff.
So it feels like we always see Omnimon. But at the same time, you're saying that Digimon needs to stop supporting the same 10 decks. The funny thing about Omnimon is he has like maybe like 4 or 5 different decks that just happen to have Omnimon. So we're going to get more Omni support in 13. And I think it's going to be for specifically the Nokia variant because I think they confirmed we're getting a new Nokia. So technically we are getting support for different decks. It's just a different Omni deck. But Omni is kind of like the face of the franchise. It's like, I feels like it's kind of pointless to complain about.
It's like Charizard, right? Like at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's like, of course we're gonna get more Omni. He is the face, bro. He is more like, I know people are tired of him being the face of Digimon, but like it doesn't change the fact that like he is more or less the face of Digi to an extent.
Why do they need to be a forefront character to get support? Just support a line. I mean, I agree with that point. I agree. it's always the main character, right? Like we haven't gotten a rival set or like a heroine set, right? Like I think I agree with that point, but like that feeling. But like
it's called Sinister Order. We get those. People just don't focus on them because they keep looking at the fact that we got another Omni.
That's not a rival set. Sinister Order, or that's a villain set, right? Yeah.
Rival, villain, same difference.
Whoa! Listen, buddy.
Whoa. Was Beelzemon?
Beelzemon is considered the rival of 3, I think. But like when we're thinking rivals, we're also including like Koji or Mad and Blue Flare and
the Lancers, the Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like a protagonist that way. I don't get like the
rivals.
The blue guy.
Yeah,
what do you call it? The Derogatus or something like that. So yeah.
I know what you mean. I like saying the rivals. I think rivals is a good way to.
Yeah, but we do get support for all of these other side characters. They just aren't what people. They aren't what people. They aren't like the. They aren't like the what's tends to be. What's the word? They aren't what's like showcased. They're there, but like off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so people and what Bandai, not only just Bandai, but showcases, but what people focus on are what are like the main supporting stuff, right? People view this set as like a TS set because the big thing that's coming is Jupiter Wrath mode and all the new TS cards. But we are getting support for a lot of side things in this set, like version 3 and Bagra Army, and like Glowing Dawn and et cetera, et cetera.
Alternating camps of complainers, those tired of anime partner lines and those upset those same lines are bad / uncompetitive. Yeah, Rockley, like I mean that's just the truth of anything, right? You're not going to be able to complain. You're not going to be able to make everyone happy. What you can do, the best you can do is make everybody happy some of the time, like some of the people happy some of the times, and just bounce between them the best you can. And I think that's gonna happen. Like a lot of people like the big thing people talk about is like, oh, we haven't gotten a War Greymon in forever. Like I'd like a true like War Greymon line in forever. And like I agree with that, but I think it's coming, man. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it comes with the X Antibody Wave. Like we still only have one War Greymon X, and I think that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if being a face of a franchise meant anything, then Terriermon would get a functional deck. He's the face of Digimon as Terriermon Assistant. That's true.
I feel like that's true, but it's also kind of a recent development that they've been kind of pushing Terriermon Assistant as like this big like mascot for the franchise.
At least the card game, I feel, right? Like I guess he's on Digimon Up too. He's kind of everywhere now.
Yeah, he's a big part of Up. They started pushing him in Time Stranger. He's got this whole like VTuber thing going on. All of that is kind of more of a recent development.
Mm-hmm.
One thing it comes down to is that like when people complain that their deck isn't supported is the fact that they didn't give them strong cards, you know? So you just got to hope that they power creep your favorite deck or your favorite Digimon hard enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also they're not being...
To some extent, you can't have it both ways.
Is there not a Terriermon Assistant card? That's not true.
There is one, but he's from like BT5, and he Digibursts one to look at the top of your deck to pick up a green or something like that.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew it.
I think he's talking about specifically that hasn't... I guess there was a brief moment when we got Rapid X that Terriermon was a good archetype, but since then, Terriermon has not been that good of an archetype.
Yeah, that's fair. I can rock with a Craniumon deck. That's coming, right? We're 100% know like Craniumon X is coming out, and it might even have his horse. I will not forgive Bandai for replacing Terriermon with Terramon on the new Scramble set. Oh, that's true. The new Scramble set, like...
Oh, yeah, that's so fucked up. I noticed that, too. It's like, what the heck? What do you mean you got like Gilmon, Renamon, and then Terramon on the Scrambles?
Yeah, that's kind of effed, but at the same time, I get it. Like, Liberator is the card game anime for us. Like,
oh, there was an EX4 Terramon Assistant. Yeah, that's right.
They're kind of, honestly, they should have just made all of them Liberators. Like I don't know why they went out of their way to give every Liberator a color, like a monocolor, and then not feature them more often in like monocolor things like those Scrambles, for example.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like Medusa's a popular deck. Instead of, I know Guillemon is popular, but like they surely could have made Eliza
The red scramble, right?
The red scramble card art.
Especially again, it's an identity crisis. Colors have meanings.
In Medusa.
Boss monsters have no meaning. They have flop. Again, it's an identity crisis. Colors have no meaning. Everyone has a color, has every color in their deck. Boss Digimon have no meaning. We have slop trait decks. No one plays a Digimon. We play a trait. That's a little true. I feel like
I don't agree.
Like the last sentence, at least, we are now playing the archetype, and the general idea is like we're playing an archetype now versus just one singular boss monster.
I guess it comes down to which deck you are playing, though, because we do have a lot of decks that are kind of like this sort of like trait mess. I think we also still have quite a few decks that are like focused.
You're playing the boss monster, right? Yeah, like Jupiter, boss monster,
yeah,
Galacti in front of us.
You're playing.
Reboot in front of us. I agree.
Just like, I don't know, you're just like singling out the more toolboxy decks as like being as a problem for when they're like not really a problem. They're just like another part of the game. It's kind of like complaining about security control existing back when it was a thing. It's like, yeah, it sucks that it exists, but it's like not necessarily a bad thing for the game. Well, I guess depending on who you argue with, it's like, I
think what you're trying to get at is like security control exists, but it wasn't like dominating the game. You were like, you could run it, like it wasn't everywhere. It wasn't rampant. Yes, it wasn't like
it wasn't the only thing in the game, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, we have these decks that are like very like archetype heavy, very like slot heavy. They aren't the only decks in the game. Mm-hmm. Just because they're focusing a lot on them doesn't mean they're the only things in the game.
Yeah. I agree.
You know, if you want a deck that is focused on their boss monsters, there are decks for you.
It's just not the boss monsters you might want, I guess, is definitely the
you can play a Liberator deck. You can play Bielstar 3M. That's very focused on their boss monster, Bielstar.
I think it's just...
And we're probably going to get even more of that because they're supporting 13 different Royal Knights decks, each of them having their own boss monster Royal Knight.
Yeah, they confirmed that each of the Royal Knights, it's their own deck, right? So...
yeah,
that's gonna be wild. I understand though, like especially if we come like, because like Shinsen Gumi's been playing this game for a while. We come from like you. I mean, I know you've played since like pretty early. I've played since BT4 ish. I still consider myself a BT1 player, even though I didn't own cards. But whatever. Like in that like what we consider like the player based golden age was probably around like that like 7 to like 12 or something was when we had like the most players. And very much like you were playing the boss monster in those eras, right? Like you were playing Melga X, Wargrey X, Kabuteri, Black Wargrey, Lord Nightmon. Like you named the deck after your 6, and we come like we come from that era. And like even then, like that era can like stuff like that continued for a long time, like Imperial Dramon and Magnamon X was its own deck, right? Like you still like there were. For a long time, you would name your deck after the 6, and now you don't really. There's less of it for sure, and then like they're definitely not hitting some of the favorite Digimons over time, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I still, as someone who literally specifically is playing the Bielstar deck, I just can't.
I'm saying it's like, different. I'm trying to give.
It's nice that there
a little bit of both sides, you know.
I think there are people who want to play a deck that's way more open-ended and more toolboxy and more, you know, so it's you have options.
Galacti is not a problem. Medusa and Galacti are topping, and we're going to complain about going back 3 or 4 years because of Crossheart. I'm not saying Galacti is a problem or reboot. No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying that those are examples of single like boss monster decks, like in like tradition, like you are playing Rebootmon. You're not playing Atmon, right? Like you are very specifically playing Reboot. You're very specifically playing Medusa or Galacti.
There are boss monsters. Rebootmon.
Yes, is the only one. Or Jupiter. Right? Like Jupiter is a very specific deck. Like it is not like it's a TS deck, and because every card says TS, but like they're the only ones playing most of those cards for the most part.
And it's pretty sick that you have a deck that's centered around you got your big boss monster Jupitermon. It's like your big main focus of the deck, and yet you can still splash those cards in them if you'd like to, because sometimes it's nice to have those that option. You know,
the decks having texture, right? Like that's not bad.
I feel like decks are worse when they become like too rigid, you know, not flexible. I don't know. Are you trying to argue that decks should be more rigid and
no, I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's just like,
he's probably not, but I think again we're trying to. There's something about the game that's not vibing with him, and he's trying to single out what it is.
For sure. Yes, the only archetype that doesn't have a dedicated boss monster, but typically the boss monster correlates.
That's my point, but it's
with the field spell for TS.
What your point is, Ben.
There are so many decks that have boss monsters. The last game felt like playing against the pro tag with plort armor. That last game felt like, was it like the Sarasmon deck? Oh yeah, the Sarasmon game, or we're talking about a reboot? Yeah, we're not paying attention today, man. Rest in peace. No 4. Jupiter equals AGO Choose engine. That's kind of true. I want to see what AGO like a level 5 toolbox AGO Choose deck looks like, man. Like we're gonna have so many options now.
It's already kind of what it is, right? We're running
a little
yellow,
bit.
The red one, the blue, black one.
I feel like the way V Passion plays it, which is like our premier Jupiter player around here, is like his main game plan is still getting into 6, right? Like it's not like a level 5 toolbox per se, I guess, in the sense that like Adventure was a level 5 toolbox, right?
Different degrees.
Sure. You know? For sure. Complete immunity is a problem that Bandai keeps running, for sure. I mean, there are problems with that in the game, for sure. I'm not saying there's no boss monster Digimon. Come on, he missed the point, but it's okay. Yeah, no, I was trying. I'm trying to bring out your point in different ways, for sure. Like, yeah, I got bonked. Rip. Oh yeah. Were you the Omnimon?
He was playing Omni, yeah.
Yeah. No, that deck is that deck's spicy. That green toolbox, TS toolbox, is kind of interesting. But like, you also like played red memory boost to find a Garurumon, and that sucked. That was. Rest in peace. You were just not finding your pieces, man. Ugh. I mean, your 6 cost, use 0, and your 5 costs 0 off of a Nori. Yeah. My pet peeve is that the tamers are such strong cards to have in decks. So many villain decks just miss out on this because naturally there are no cannon tamers. I mean, I get your point in the sense that like right now there's probably like a lot of decks that are getting good value. Like decks right now, like there was a good frame of time where like Bandai was afraid of printing tamers because of hybrids, but now like Bandai is now printing good like tamers that support their archetypes or whatever again. But there's still plenty of times where like tamers aren't necessarily necessary. I think because tamers are repeatable value, like people kind of think like, oh, my deck needs a tamer. But like I always feel like if you feel like your deck needs a tamer to succeed, then like there might be other problems with that deck, because like
I kind of see his point, bro. No, I kind of agree.
Okay, go ahead.
For one,
go off.
I mean, like how do I put this? There's been a lot of decks that are like, especially villain decks, that been able to succeed without any tamer whatsoever. Right. I think Levia is like a really perfect example of a deck that can just sort of like combo off and
7 demons. All your tamers were tech slots, right? Like your deck still operated on its own merits without any tamers. Go ahead.
I hate that 7 demons does not have a tamer. It's like the kind of deck that would prefer to have that sort of like every turn value, because it's like a long-term control deck, like a timer deck. So it would really benefit them. It's one of those decks that would benefit the most from having a tamer, in the same vein that like Royal Knights got Cool Boy. And there's not even a character that you can apply that to, right? Unless you just like randomly decide that like Aki Karada is that guy or something.
Well, you could always do what Royal Knights is about to do and just like make like Gate of the seven sins or whatever it's called, a tamer, right? I don't think tamers are like, because we're about to get a King Drasil tamer, right? Like that's happening.
Yeah, because Drasil has like a human form. There's no human form of the gate. That
sure, but like who's like, you know what, like F it, do it anyway, you know, or make a field spell, or make more delay options, right? Like
that's probably what they're gonna do. Is they're probably gonna do something like along lines of like a field spell or something.
Yeah, I will see. Well, I will see what happens.
So, well, it's like I feel complicated about that topic because it's like on one hand, I disagree because I think you can totally make decks that function without tamers. At the same time as I also do agree because I have a deck that I like that could really benefit from tamer support, but has no viable character to turn into a tamer.
I feel like Seven Demons though, like in its time, like didn't need the tamer, right? Like it was a perfectly functioning deck without a tamer. At no point did you need the tamer, right?
The game has evolved since then. I feel like
for sure,
control deck benefits a lot. Like look at how good look at how much Homeros and Dan Cannon do for TS control.
Right, for sure.
I'd love to have that for Demon Lords.
I think the big thing for Demon Lords is like maybe there's a world where we get like a dual card version of Demon Lords where, because like you can't have aces would ruin you, right? But that's that was what evolved Royal Knights, was like these cheap Royal Knights and aces that like took them to the next stage. Obviously Cool Boy and Omeka were big parts of that as well. Like for example, you could just get like a rookie that like slots has the 7 Demon Lord trait or whatever, slots under Agudo, and now you have like that like on your opponent's turn pressure, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of the Omekamon pressure that Royal Knights did, because I feel like that was more like at times more valuable than the Cool Boy being added to the deck.
No, I mean different. It's a different deck.
Right.
It would be nice to have Omeka equivalent, sure.
I'm just saying there's things they could do with that's not a tamer. That's all I'm trying to say.
In this stupid deck, man.
That's fair.
Give me a tamer that draws one, discard to draw one, gain one in Demon Lords.
Yeah, that's fair. Or like when you play, like even just like what Royal Knights has, right? When you play a 7 demons, draw one, trash one. Or not draw one, trash one, but just like draw one, gain one.
Draw one on it. Please. How can we toolbox if we can't find our tools?
No, I don't disagree. One of the things I feel like Digimon, from my limited knowledge of their other game, is that their aim is to make simpler games. They make the break easier. A lot of people complaints stem from their own competitive mindedness for all these games problems. I feel like the Bandai does a fairly decent job in providing answers. Yeah, I mean that's like one of the big reasons where like Digimon's only really had like one true tier 0 format, which never made it to the US, which was Apoclymon, right? Because they've done a pretty good job of like nothing's unbeatable. Everything has like a counter to it, at least. Like to that point, I wish we had side deck at this point, because I think the card pool is diverse enough and like and creative enough to where every deck can benefit from it. But like to say we need it, I don't think we need it, because everything's beatable right now. Even like reboot, immunity, like anything and everything's beatable now, and I think we're in a good spot.
That's another thing. It's like I know a lot of people like to complain about cards with the complete immunity. What actually has complete immunity?
I mentioned
this before. Everything that has every deck that tries to build a sticky body always has some sort of silver bullet that outs it.
Right, because like there's Magnamon X, I guess that is an issue, but like now there's so much raid, right? Or just like fight you in this game.
Yeah, you can also just, you know what outs Magnamon X?
Jupiter. Yeah. Premium DP.
There's always an out. I guess the issue there is when you aren't playing a deck that has the out, it feels like those matchups feel like
when it feels like you need to have the out to everything, and it's like, oh, I don't have the out, so I lose. That definitely feels bad. That's like not a great, like the greatest player experience. But still, like at least I would rather that than like a tier 0 format. Is I guess the other
cards that have like immunity, even though it's not technically complete immunity. It's like being pedantic that you can say that, say DP lingering DP minus can out both Galacti and Magna X, because not every deck has access to those effects. But like, I don't know. It's like you. At one point, I was playing against Galacti with Bielstar, and because I teched in Talisman, I was able to put him in a scenario where I was able to like bait them to block and then go into Callus to then stun their
Mm-hmm.
their Galacti and then avoid dying for a turn.
Nice. Like they don't have enough levers to manipulate the game tuning. I agree with that. I, as a game designer, X game thing, I definitely agree. Like more levers is nice, even if you don't plan to use them. Giving yourself levers is good. We haven't like, and that's something I'll praise Naruto for. It does seem like they have given themselves a lot of levers to like. Maybe they'll never touch those levers, but there's a lot of ways to like play with that game. So we'll see how it goes into that. Shinshingumi's response to some of our banter is I'll go deeper. The trait lock is a problem. It restricts your versatility to only the trait. Complete immunity and no respect for memory is a big problem. Any Digimon can attack regardless of memory. So like engage. So we're talking about like engage or when digivolving, you may attack. I've kind of been okay. This is just a me thing. Like I definitely have been okay with things like engage or like, because right now I feel like people say that the memory gauge doesn't matter, but right now I feel like the memory gauge is like at the coolest, right? It's ever been, right? Because like let's come back to like when Bloomlord was like a relevant deck. They would do 10 million things, they would gain 10 million memory, and then they would put you to 1. Or like Black War Gray would do that too. Clear whole body, delete this, delete that, delete everything, trash your security, you're at 1. Who else did this? Fenrir-Lugamon. Let's do this whole thing. My biggest defense of Fenrir-Lugamon was like it was impossible to get choked to 1 by Fenrir-Lugamon. And now more than ever, I feel like in Digimon, you get to do a big play and you give your opponent a lot of memory, but you don't feel bad, but your opponent also gets a lot of memory to play the game and answer you. So now you have this cool gameplay of I do big thing, you have a lot of memory. I don't feel bad that I gave you a lot of memory because I got to do my big thing and it still feels powerful. And you now have a ton of memory to try to beat me. And I that's why I think this format for the past couple of sets has been amazing.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I think this whole thing is like nuanced because Shinzugumi said that like any Digimon can attack regardless of memory. He says that it's a problem. I feel like I agree that like no respect for memory is a game issue. I think decks that like can generate like what feels like endless amounts of memory could like very easily result in issues. But like decks that can attack regardless of memory tend to not be a part of that. That's like a whole different thing that I think is like not an issue because of that factor that Risu mentioned. Like a lot of the times you still do pass over a good chunk of memory. So as long as you do that, then there's still like a game there because, you know, you get to do your big thing. Now your opponent gets to do a lot to do their own big thing.
I'll go and then like the trait lock problem. Like I get that. I mean, to be fair, I come from Magic where it's like everything was block format, and like that's a big keyword I've been trying to push onto Digimon now is like this whole idea of block format where it's like, okay, we're in the TS block. A lot of TS cards are coming out. The versatility is you get to play with all these cards and go back and forth, but they're still kind of exclusive to TS, but you have a lot of TS options if you're in a TS deck. If you're part of the current format, you have a ton of options, and slowly that's going to fade away and we're going to be into new stuff. And like that was kind of like what Magic was like I guess like a big time, like if you guys played during like Theros, there was a big mechanic called Devotion, and it mattered how many black pips you had on your cards to activate bigger effects. Or like, so like black devotion was a thing, blue devotion was a thing. And like eventually we were on to the next thing, which was like, I don't remember, it was after Theros. I think that's when I started playing competitively. But you guys like, I think that's just kind of part of the game. Like, I don't know. It to me, it always boils down to like rotation versus ban list. And like, since I'm a rotation guy, I see it in front of me. I feel what you're feeling of like, I see what you're seeing of like, we're kind of locked into these current sets of cards to our card pool of what's playable, air quotes. Obviously there's the outliers of like, I can still play a Hammer Spark, right? That's a starter deck 1 card, 2 card, whatever. But like at the end of the day, like you are playing like the past 4 sets for the most part. I'm okay with that, and I think that's just forever going to be a difference.
Yeah, and I like to add to it, like continuing this conversation about like you said that trait lock is a problem because it restricts your versatility. For a while, the way they've been doing trait locking stuff is like I would agree with that statement, right? There have been a lot of sets where it's like, okay, we're making this archetype that basically only wants you to play cards within its archetype, and it's very the way you build them is very rigid. And, there's a lot of decks like Excel and Adventure that are like this. But one thing that makes me hopeful and optimistic is the way that they still are doing very trait specific stuff, but they are designing them a way that are actually more versatile rather than less versatile. I think TS, I think is like the perfect example of this, because you mentioned like maybe like 4 or 5 decks that are TS traded, but there are their own separate decks. So you have like 3M, Bears, Titans. All of these are TS, but because they're TS, they are their own like specific decks, but they can also sometimes splash other decks within the larger TS archetype. So it actually kind of increases their versatility to an extent. Like when I made the example of running Talisman in Bielstar, just because it's a TS, I can do that. So it's like, but like a lot of the older, like very archetype trait heavy design did have that issue. And I'm glad that what it looks like is that they're still going in the direction of making things very trait heavy, but also trying to address this like excess versatility issue at the same time. Because at the same time, there's when things were like too versatile, I think that's when a lot of the games like more toxic, more bigger issues came about. Because I have to repeat myself talking about how some of the strongest stuff that had to get limited are stuff that's like too generic. Stuff that gives you a bit too much versatility, like the option cards that generically give you memory for nothing, like Gravity Crush, Blinding Ray, HPD, et cetera, et cetera. I think one of the reasons why we're moving away from color design and more towards archetype design is so that we have less of those kind of cards become an issue. Because, when it comes to like an archetype heavy design, what happens is that even if a specific deck becomes a meta problem, you don't even necessarily have to limit that card, the deck, because like if it just becomes naturally power creeped or naturally countered by the next set's cards, then there's not a card randomly in there that's going to be like, okay, but this card is so strong it's going to still see play, like what you had with, say, Gravity Crush, right?
My point is very nuanced. Digimon doesn't make me excited anymore. Nuanced. That's fair. I played TB for 2 weeks and fell. I will agree with you, man. Dropping down Susan and just saying minus 18K your whole board is... I didn't feel good doing that, but man...
Yeah, it's very nuanced. I think we can agree on that point. Like, I think... Yeah, it happens. I think we've all been there where like you would play a format and it's just like, I don't like it, or I don't like this format. It's like not happening. Yeah. So
TS's biggest problem was
for like trying to like argue so much with you about your points, but like,
no, this is the fun. This is why he's doing it, bro. He gets it. It's all for fun. See, the way I like to tell people in this on our stream today, is that like we can get passionate, we can get mad because we're getting mad at a card game. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. This is if we're gonna let our emotions out, it might as well be something dumb and that doesn't matter, right? Like if we're getting mad about like the politics of like building a bridge to save 10 lives, like okay, that's a different like that has real world impact. Like if we could get mad here, that's okay because there's you know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah,
this is the place to do it.
I agree that the game has issues. It's just like we can't always like agree on what that issue is, and when you're in that state where it's like the game isn't fun for you, it's we're all trying to figure out what it is about it that makes it that way. For sure. That's why I was like arguing with some of those previous points, because it's like I get being mad about them, but it's like I just don't think some of those things are actually problems with the game, right? Things like trait slot being a bad thing. I think the way TS does trait slot is good, actually, and not actually a problem with the game. But there's also, if you're not having fun with the game, then there's obviously something there that isn't fun right now. So we can only hope that like, we have another set coming around the corner, in a month. That's probably going to shake things up. Let's all hope that we find something fun out of it. I'm hoping I'll enjoy Plutomon, right? I'm like pensive on whether or not that's going to be that good or not, but I'm hopeful.
Just a bullet. You have to bite sometimes.
That's a bullet to bite. Sometimes you can tech for anything, but you can't tech for everything. Yeah. I think Digimon is very heavy on that issue specifically. Is that you, whenever you can't always like be perfect into every matchup, and
that's just competitive play, period, right? Yeah. Like any game.
Anytime there's a deck that can do that, it's actually bad because now it's like, oh, now it feels like this deck is unstoppable, and it's like the best, it's like the one only deck that can to play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what I hated about BT5 format. It's like,
oh my god. Yeah. I still can't believe people want to go back to BT5, bro. Like, oh my god.
Why would you play anything else? Lord Knight outs
Lord Knight,
everything.
and then that's why Rookie Rush was so good, because they would just be like, I'm just gonna play everything while you're hoping to find Lord Knight and swing. And I was just like, oh my god, those are the only two viable decks in BT5.
I get complaining about protection, but I feel like for the way the game is right now, I think certain cards kind of need protection just for their own game plan. If your game plan is to have your guys stick on board and like be a threat, they need to like, there's so much removal for there to not have something there. But it does feel sucky when you just don't have the out, right?
There's also a different point about the tamers that came up of like, they don't have to stick with lore, and kind of wish that they broke the lore a little bit. Like, it kind of would be cool. Like, and I kind of like just like throwing out, spitballing an idea, like, what if we got like a Royal Knights tie, and then like a 7 Demon Lords mat, and then we just had like a theme like 7 Demon Lords versus Royal Knights with tie and mat as the tamers. That's kind of cool. Like, I agree with the idea that like they don't necessarily have to stick with like anything canon to just give tamers and support to some of these decks. And I think someone mentioned that like they did that with Ghost Game technically, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Smash made a comment that like I super agree with. Trait lock can be important because it lets them make stronger cards than before, but not in a way that breaks the game. Yeah, if a card that comes out is like super strong and isn't trait locked, that's like target number one for a card that's going to be on the limited list in the near future.
Yeah, there was the Black Toolbox list, but it even when it was like discovered, I think it won a regional, and then it was like people knew about it, but even then it was still like Lord Knight was still the better deck on average. It just had a good Lord Knight matchup though, right? But like
BT5 and BT7 dark areas, bro. Lol. I can't disagree. Yeah, those certainly were eras. Ugh.
6. What was 6? I mean, 6 was like finally my color was good, so I was kind of happy, honestly.
6 was
Bonds. It was Bonds, 3 Muskets for the first time.
I missed that deck. I love 3 Muskets, even though it still felt bad playing into Bonds and watching them just ignore everything you do and just swing. You know, all you can do is just pray that that they hit something bad into security, and there's nothing else that you can even potentially try.
Pepsi Bond, yeah, I remember Pepsi Bond. I remember, yeah, I remember. What's the other one?
Yeah, that Black Knight, like that was like one top. That was like one player figuring out the sauce.
I think it got other. I think that player won, and then it got a couple tops here and there beyond that. But it was like it ran into the issue of like black just bricks. Like it was like red back then. Like decks were way more brickier back then, and red and black were even worse about it. Yeah, BT7 was a problem. Like it's hard for me to hate BT7 because like I finally got to play Lobomon, Beowulfmon, and Magna Guru. But I get it. Like getting all your stuff stunned with a bunch of floodgates on board wasn't really fun. But I digress. Dang, this green toolbox deck is clapping kids today. Miguel is on it. Jesus Christ.
I've been so out of like actually watching the games that I've been sitting in table 2 this entire time. I'm having more fun like trying to like respond to the chat.
Yeah, that's what happened. I probably should commit. Like, I need to probably sit down and like just make a hard commit to like a hard rule of like, all right, it's finals. We will actually talk about the game. But like, this is what the stream always is. It's so hard to make that rule.
I'm having fun though.
No, it's good, and the chat loves it too. No, this isn't by no means your fault. So I don't think it is. No
shade to my viewers. I love you guys, but like we never have these sort of things. That's probably because it makes sense because I'm always in the.
You're also playing, yeah. You're doing the half and half thing, yeah.
And we never have these kind of arguments either.
Side note: Tessero has his own YouTube channel and Twitch channel. You mostly do Twitch because you can't support doing both, and you've already built your base on Twitch, right? So.
Yeah, well, actually, I haven't been on Twitch lately. I've been kind of shifting towards YouTube.
Okay.
Because I remember you mentioned that I should do more stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I think in general, like unless you're, I don't know how many subs or whatever, what your success is on Twitch. Like, cause like right now, it's like unless you're Mario or like maybe Max Tapera, like or I think those are the only two true, or what's his name, True Champ Steven, like that have a big base on Twitch. Like the discoverability on YouTube is just way more important because like you just type Digimon TCG and YouTube scans your stream and starts recommending it to people. And I think there's just way more discoverability on YouTube.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think I'm going to be shifting to YouTube more often in general because like I don't know if there's like a room to grow in Digimon TCG in Twitch right now.
Because we don't even have a category, bro.
Category. Yeah. No, there's no category.
It's so stupid.
Maybe when Illusion comes out, it would make sense to go on Twitch for that.
Yeah, I would give that. I would give you that for sure. Because you would definitely have a category by then.
Category for it. Yeah.
Bring Tessero more IMO for sure. Like, listen. Tessero's here because he asked.
Yeah, because it felt like we were yelling at each other for a certain point. I'm glad that. Oh yeah, I'm glad you're having me on.
Nah, no, we're good. No, I live like no, we're good. Shizugumi's great. No, and Shinshinigumi we're Hispanic, bro. We like just getting mad and then just drinking a beer after. We're good.
No player being pushed up prematurely got cooked game too, I guess. So, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes games, I get that that's a lot of games, is that sometimes it comes down to is one player bricked, or sometimes it comes down to one person player moved out prematurely. I love it when games, there are games that go beyond that, and I love when that happens. We live for those moments, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And what can you really say about
was it? Last Monday or the Monday before, I got to play against Onion playing Galacti, and I was playing Bielstar, and man, those games were tight.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. No, the Galacti deck kind of cooks, man. Like that deck is it's one of those decks where I'm like it's kind of like what Shine Greymon was to me last game. Was like, how are more people not having success with this deck? And I think it just comes down to seeing enough Galactis in time. I don't quite know why that deck isn't doing better. What would you say?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to play it myself some more so I can like investigate that. Because it seems pretty solid, but it is kind of one of those decks that like does the thing I was mentioning where it's like I have a guy that's immune. You can't deal with it, but then you run into those matchups where it's like, yeah, but I can deal with it. I can go Jupiter Olympus minus 23. It's going to die at the start of your turn. And then you have to and at that point it becomes a real match because now it's like, okay, now I have to assembly another one, and then it goes back and forth. That's like maybe the best thing I can guess is that like it's a deck that has this immune body that it wants to stick around, but there are matchups that
like we saw in last game, like the TS toolbox player, like they would just go Marsmon and swing. They just swing over it and it was dead. There's just like, and it's not even swing over it because they can end the attack. Specifically, just punch it. Like, and like there was just no answer they had. They were just Galacti was gone. Yeah.
That's another thing about like this conversation about there being more protection being thrown about is that they're also throwing about more ways to remove as well. You know, just as we started getting more Digimon that are immune to non-options, we get dual cards, and they're printing more cards like Galacti that can't be no effects in general, they started to also introduce fight as a keyword, right? Or battles as a keyword. Not a keyword, but like
an effect,
that you can do that outs them. So it's like, it's like a question that like whether or not immunity really is the thing that's plaguing this game, is because it feels like just about every time they introduce cards that are like more and more protected, they just as much introduced more and more outs.
I think they've been getting better about it recently is the thing, right? Like, I think like they like, cause I still remember like, I still quiver playing back in like BT 16, 17-ish, where it was just like Magnamon X was just, I hated, like playing against that deck was like grinding teeth, man. It was so annoying to play against that deck because they were just like, there's nothing you can do. You're just like, all right, I hope you just die, I guess. Like, I guess that's where we're at now.
I mean, the thing with me is that like during that format, Magna X wasn't the problem, right?
Right, because you were playing what? Like that was close to 7 Demon Lords too, right? Or what?
It was right before 7 Demon Lords.
What were you playing at that time?
I don't even remember. I think it was Fenry.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
It was almost certainly Fenry.
Yeah, I was on Fenry for 16 as well, yeah.
Yeah, and then people were playing Numamons, and that felt like a deck like I couldn't do anything about, because it's like, I'm playing Fenry, most of my effects delete. Anytime I delete, you just spit out a billion things and make a billion, print a billion more memory. It's like, that was a deck I felt like I couldn't do anything about.
And then you go ruin mode and call it a day. It's just like, you don't have a deck anymore. Then, like, sorry.
And Numamon was a deck that can out Magna, because famously Magna X dies to lingering DP minus, and guess what? Monze X does.
Yeah. I still live on the idea that like Magna like Numamon
was diabolical. I agree.
I was gonna say Numamon, if they really wanted to hit Numamon without completely killing the deck, if they hit the RB1 Monze, if they did that, I think we could still live in a world where Numamon was a relevant deck, but not like completely gutted like it was.
Yeah. I remember during that era, I was arguing that the hit was going to be Monze X.
I would have given you that. To me, it was more of the RB, but I would give you the Monze X too.
Because the lingering DP minus was crazy. The fact that it like, the way it like adds to your board count. So like you use them to play out another Numamon, which then you evolve into another Numamon X, which now you have even more threats that float.
Yep. Monze X
I also
was disgusting.
agree. Vaccine Magna X was diabolical. Yeah. I feel like Magna X was like the most dealable thing if you had the right outs to it, except for the vaccine version, because it made it so efficiently.
I think my thing with the
rapid into the option card to evolve it to a furry was too, like, the nice thing about Magnamon X is that it costs 5 to evolve over Magnamon, so you at least had like a turn to figure things out. Against vaccines, you didn't have that. They evolved into that shit for 3.
Yeah, that was so, oh my god, that was gross. So gross, man. But yeah, no. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Another thing about it, I think what my mindset back then with the Monze versus Monze X was like, all right, if you hit the good Monze, then Monze X is worse. So that's fine. Like, you can leave Monze X, because if they don't have a good Monze, then it's like whatever. But it was like,
But you had Protoform, bro.
That's true. But then you'd have to have it. It was my point back then. I was like, all right, now you have to have these cards, and it just makes it like
you draw so many cards over like play Numa, evolve Numa X, evolve, trigger Tsunomon, trigger Uko Search. That
Not
deck
wrong.
Deck had everything: swarm, removal, consistency, floodgates.
Was that the deck? Were they also running like the D Brigade stuff? No, they weren't, right?
I'm pretty sure they were running Chikuri and or Zenimon to floodgate people too.
Oh, they definitely were running Chikuri. Zenimon? Is that what we're saying now, bro?
It was either Zeni or Chumon.
You're trying to be hip? That's crazy. It was Chumon, brother. Come on.
Was Zenimon later?
Zenimon is the later one. I'm just giving you shit. Yeah, Zenimon's the new one with because Chumon has 1 KDP, so they gave us a black one that actually had the 2K.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed that some colors have duplicates of floodgates when not all the colors have all the floodgates yet.
What's nice is that these floodgates have mostly left the game, because the way that the game has become more trait heavy, these cards are harder to run.
That's true. That's true.
And so it kind of goes back into that conversation about like, yeah, the game is like less flexible because now you have less ways to run these cards, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Do we not like the fact that those cards are no longer a thing to have worry about because they're floodgates and people hate floodgates? So it kind of comes down to like, whether you think floodgates are like unnecessarily evil, or you think they should just be gone. They shouldn't exist.
I don't know. It's such a back and forth conversation. I think like,
yeah, it's so nuanced.
I was always like, I hate floodgates. Like when I say I hate floodgates, my brain never thinks of the rookies. I'm always thinking about like ruin mode. I'm thinking about the dragon links. I'm thinking about fighter mode, or the red purple fighter mode. I'm thinking about what's soon to be like Mirage. I'm thinking about what's soon to be Zombie Pluto. That's where my brain's at when it comes to floodgates. But Valder Arm, also gross, still gross.
Yeah.
That card's coming back.
Yeah, I see. Rookie floodgates are good. Yeah, usually because you can actually play around them to an extent.
Or they're usually outable. Yeah, like. So those
the
are
ones that like put a lingering effect on us. Is like that's.
Those just can't even do anything about it. Like
can't do anything.
Like there was like Hexblow was always fair because it was like, well, if you out the Hexblow, it's fine, right? Like.
Yeah, that's the thing about Quartzmon and Hexblow. Yeah, I feel like if your deck has outs to them, you can out them and deal with it. Like I'm fine with Diana too. Every time they go into Diana against me, I usually out it, then add more sources, and still get to do my thing.
Yep.
But then like the lingering stuff is when.
Yeah, it gets gross.
Depending on the floodgates, sometimes even lingering floodgates can be played through.
I feel like Crimson Blaze is bad now only because
Crimson Blaze sucks. Root mode is like the one that's like, okay, yeah, if I anticipate it, I can play around it, or if I have something big enough that I can play it.
I feel like the problem with Crimson Blaze is it only feels unfair right now because of the cost reduction. If it was like always flat 6 memory, I think Crimson Blaze would be fine. Like just because like 6 memory for an option card that's not searchable in your hand, just sitting there and not acting as a cheap potential play. I think it makes
It does a lot. Crimson Blaze maybe just does too much when it has the floodgate, the removal, and all that synergy, the security effect, and all that synergy with Medusa.
Yeah, the synergy with Medusa like is over the top, even crazy. The Tyrant player, I highly disagree about Hexblow.
Oh, hey, there's a floodgate.
But in 2027, Tyrant will have fight, so you're fine, Rhyme.
Yeah, true. And you can evolve it over Tyrant, so you can. Oh, no, you can't evolve it.
If card was weaker, it'd be fine. Yeah.
The problem with fighting Hexblow is you have to deal with Iceclad. So if you have enough sources.
Oh, you probably do. Yeah, you probably might.
We're talking about floodgates, then we see an EPS on the board on screen.
Oh, true. But I don't think I don't think this deck cares. I mean, I guess they're running Danny and Kanan, but like, I don't think we care that much.
No, it turns off their ability to play a new what's it called?
Field spell. Yeah, that's fair.
A new Abyss area.
If card was weaker, it'd be fine. Yeah, but I feel like specifically with Crimson Blaze, it takes it to a new level of like, if Crimson Blaze cost 6, like it wouldn't feel, it would feel way fair. Like it would be like, all right, you took your whole turn just to floodgate me without developing a Digimon. Like the problem with the Digimon floodgates, it's like, well, you have a boss monster out and you cut off my shins, so I can't even play the game.
Yeah, but it's such a nuanced discussion because we have a really perfect example here with EPS. Like that's a floodgate for sure, but like it's maybe like one of the few things that can do to even have a game plan against like BL Star, for example.
And we're just going to keep going, continuing to try to go wide here. We're going to hard play the Minerva. Play, ooh, we got the good combo.
Ooh.
Play Minerva, play Homeros, and now end of turn. Homeros or Bacchus, you think? What does Bacchus do again?
Bacchus lets you play a 6K, right?
Yeah, I think it is a 6K, so it's less effective.
Well,
I don't even think we did anything.
The 6K you can play a Siren off of that.
Oh, true. Yeah. Minerva is play cost, so.
Yep. So yeah, you can play technically some bigger things as long as it's 6 play cost or 6 KDP. And nothing else, you now also have a board of a bunch of blockers. Everything here is now a blocker to try to protect themselves from dying to reboot swinging twice.
Right.
We're seeing some plays here. We're linking Logimon, I think, to suspend the Minerva, so now he can
just swing over
start swinging. I mean, not swing. He can swing over.
Oh, I got bottom decked. We're fools.
Bottom. Oh, that's a perfect out. Just bottom deck it now. There's no more blockers. Yeah, yikes.
Still don't have game yet,
extra
though.
Protection from. I mean, it depends on what we tech. I know Zenitsu's been hyping up. He's been really loving running Final Judgment in his reboot list.
Oh, okay. We are at 7 memory. There's a lot. Yeah, you're right. There's a good amount we can get done here to either just make a second reboot, honestly. But right now with the Bacchus Floodgate, like, we can't play a second Digimon, actually.
I guess that's true, because it's when Digimon played or Digivolve, suspend. If played by effect, delete. I guess it depends. We probably can play a Digimon and get it suspended.
And then delete it, right?
No, only deletes if it's played by effect.
Oh, true. Okay.
So if he just slams something and then starts like linking it so that he can like start doing a chain to like make another reboot potentially, and then reboot unsuspends itself, and then if you final judgment that, maybe that's game.
Reboot wouldn't be running Paladin mode. I guess they could be running Paladin mode. I wouldn't be shocked if more green top end decks are running Paladin mode, honestly. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's like a really good tech in like this format specifically. If you're expecting a lot of TB and you have like an immune guy that you can just sort of like counter timing Paladin mode whenever they try to like do whatever and then undo their trash so they no longer can Susan. I think we've seen
Susan's white too because of for the gain 3 memory.
Yeah. So like I think we saw someone tech the Paladin mode ace in Glowing Dawn in like the UK regional, right?
Yeah, I think it was the UK regional, yeah. All right, the cleared security, Sirenmon. What's this? Oh, Siren doesn't have a security effect, right? Or what was it again? Siren. What was Siren's security effect?
So I think Siren's security effect is just, you can play a Saris at the
with a reduced cost, yeah. So it doesn't mean anything here. All right, we go to 0 memory after playing the option and playing a reboot, and then we're going to go into emergency program switches. Yeah,
that's nice. Again, nice here because that means there's no cheeky heal from another field spell.
That's true. I don't think we need it though. I think we have a wide enough board.
Staring down a board of like 5 dudes and a bunch of memory.
We go to 5
memory. Does he not suspend his
if you you can trigger the Homeros first to gain you to go to 4 and then do Dan and Kanon to go to 5?
Yeah, that must be what he's doing here since he's not going past 5.
Yeah.
Is he just scooping up? He's just scooping up. I mean, if you're looking for an out, I probably would have just like
scoop up there. I mean, maybe we don't have things to digivolve there. Maybe
probably doesn't have. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what if in that scenario, you just like give up on extra on the suspend effect and just go, yeah, I will draw a card, suspend and draw a card off of Homeros because I need that draw.
That's fair. Interesting.
That's an interesting thing about being in that position as the Homeros player, because then it's like you get the choice depending on what you need the most. Because sometimes, like if you don't even have an Olympus to play, then an extra effect off of Homeros is not going to matter.
Optional if Evo play normal, but because it's mandatory if the effect on the same effect. At least Melgar and Kalos are clear about their effects. I feel like if we had like Dianamon in this toolbox list, this would be no problem. But
it is true.
Is it Dianamon? No, I guess Venus. Venus would be ideal here, I think, because Diana would not affect the reboot. I guess this is game. This is probably. I think this is game 3.
I was reading Bacchus. Yeah, Mario is like is correct as I did. It's kind of weird that it switches from optional to mandatory like that.
Does it?
Yeah, because it says you may suspend, then if played by effect, delete, which is a mandatory trigger. It doesn't say you may delete.
Oh, interesting.
Which is an important distinction because of the fact that it's once per turn, right? Diana's pretty nasty. It's trashing sources for playing the game is strong AF. Yeah. There's a lot of matchups where that is pretty good in. It's just funny, like, it feels like every time, 90% of the time, as I've been playing Bielsa, 90% of the time they play it against me, I'm just like, okay, I will evolve into Scopemon and tuck a Hurricane Scoosha underneath. You want to use that effect? You want to give me another free memory? Or like they basically stun my like level 6 and I like activate like several like Scope and or Lady Devi and or Scope, Lady Devi, Sparrowmon effects. You just tuck more sources underneath and then have enough to be able to swing.
Oh man, what do we do here? There's a TS. Do we grab? It looks like we're grabbing the Elec. There's a world where I would have loved to see us grab like the Mem Boost, play the Mem Boost, and then play a third Mem Boost.
Actually, no. It says you said that the new Merva is a clean out him, but like the reboot protection doesn't lose to lingering DP minus, unlike everything else that is immune, because you trigger it during your opponent's turn and it lasts up until the end of your own. So he's kind of like the first of his kind in that sense.
Monica is the only play.
Monica is a good one. Yeah. It'd be interesting if we see more tamer, just specifically so we have more interaction points off of these like effect immune guys. If we start seeing more tamers that like do things, right? I can see it happening for like maybe the future like Belphamon support will eventually get in EX14. Since traditionally we've already had that in a way, right? We've had the Karada from BT13 that deletes a level 6, which is a fun way to get around some protections.
Right, we're going up the daisy chain all the way to reboot.
We do need something to help modernize Belphamon, because he feels like one of those decks that are like, I mentioned this earlier, how like, yeah, there's more ways than ever to like deal with immune Digimon, just as we got started to get more of them. And Belphamon is like got caught in the crossfire. That deck is now kind of unplayable because we have all these outs to sleep mode that you can use, the lingering DP minus. Yeah, you can use lingering DP minus. You could just like go play something green and just punch it. Just punch the sleep mode. You have no protection against that.
Yeah, no. I mean, you could end the attack, but now with fighting, you could end the attack, right? Yeah, you could end the attack, but
yeah, you can end attacks, but you can't end being battled by the new battle effects.
So we're all the way at Bootmon. Oh, we're not going to go into... No, we are going to go into reboot. probably. We'll see. That's
yeah,
shut.
if we force to block and then use a green stun. Isn't that still not working because you're still going to be immune? Because we mentioned earlier that the immunity starts in your opponent's turn and lasts until the end of your own. You're still going to be immune to the can't unsuspend part. Only out is to be bigger. True. You just be bigger and punch it. And then have to deal with Karasmon.
How big is
Reboot? Punch it
Reboot?
again.
Reboot's huge, right? You can't... Marsmon can't
12
fight it,
however
right?
much from Lynx.
Yeah.
So typically, he should at least have one level 5 Lynx, so at least 16, and usually one more, so 18 to 20.
I don't think Marsmon hits
so
20.
Pretty big.
18K
yeah, we say all these things that makes Reboot sound like amazing, and the deck is still like not actually topping or anything because
it's a consistency issue, right?
A silver bullet that's a literal bullet.
Yeah. And here we're gonna pass to 2. But we actually have a lot of play in this turn, right? We have 2 Danon Kanons. I think we're at 18K right now. Can Mars get to 18K? I wonder.
Maybe if you have like the full line plus Paradise Coliseum, you need to get over 20 typically because if they're playing correctly, they'll put 2 level 5s linked, which is plus 8.
Oh, the Danon Kanon are locked. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, yeah, that's another strong part about Reboot is Shutmon being able to stun Tamers. It really feels like this deck just has everything. It just keeps getting silver bulleted. I guess the other thing it's lacking that I know that some Reboot players are complaining about is aggression. Like, yeah, you can like swing 2 checks, unsuspend, swing 2 checks, but that's it. That's really strong, but like, that's not killing.
Yeah.
So we've seen a couple of Reboot players taking like Final Judgment to get that last bit of damage they need to end the game.
I think we're cooked here. I don't think we could do anything. We have an Iliad. We have Mars, but Mars doesn't do anything for us, unfortunately. And with Dan and Kanan both stunned, it's like, ugh. Also, no rush, right?
SW getting dual card vouchers is kind of expected, but it'd be nice if the TB guys, the San Myojin, get them as well, especially if 2 of them are TCG debuts. That, again, it makes me wonder, Ariamon is in the TB pendulum. If they're going to make TB Ariamon, are they going to make her level 7 or level 6?
Who?
Because they've changed levels before for like Chaos Dramon because of what they are in their own VPET. So it's like, it wouldn't be unheard of if they made the TB version of Ariamon level 6 just because that's how she is in the VPET. Ariamon was like the alternate.
Oh, Area.
Level 7 for
or Liberator. Oh, Ariamon.
Yeah. She's in TB as well.
Oh, right. She's in TB because of Ryugu. Right.
Not because of Ryugu, but they just put her in there. She's another one of the megas in that VPET.
Interesting.
Yeah, because we don't already have mode changes for the San Myojin. It makes me wonder, like, if they want to add like a dual card for them to use in combination with Kunlun. Like, sure, we're probably going to get Yamamon eventually. That could be that, but like
we're definitely getting Enma and Shaka. Those are coming for their respective sides. Yeah.
Enma. I don't know why I called him Yama. That's Enma. Yeah, that's the thing. In SW, you have Shakamon, and then we have all the mode changes that could be potential dual cards for synergy. But TB, we have Enma, and unless they make Ariamon or invent some new Digimon, that might just be it.
I think we're cooked, chat.
Kote wasn't even in the VPET. Was he not?
We're really thinking about this turn.
That's really interesting to me that they're SW is this archetype that, like the other pendulums, is like supposedly a pendulum archetype, but like the card game has expanded it to like all the other Digimon that would make sense to give that trait. Like, you know, Susan's not in the VPET, but they made him both traits.
Well, he's part of the lore of Shambhala, which, I mean, at that point the VPET is also lore of Shambhala, so I think Eri should be in it. I don't think it would be random. I think it's easy enough to put them as a mode change or something for Kaguya.
He's mentioning Kotemon not being in the VPET of Toho Braves, even though he's got the trait for it. And it makes sense. Like Kotemon visually is TB, right? He's wearing the kendo outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess TB and SW aren't, even though they look like they would be pendulum archetypes, they technically aren't. After all, you can't pick up their cards with giant meat, after all.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that kind of expands like the total pool of cards that could be given TB trait in the future to anything that is Asian themed or Japan themed for TB and China themed for SW.
East Asian. You can just say East Asian. I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the EX rookies plus Rena. Again, that makes me wonder about the Elysian starter, because we're getting an Elysian starter, which is almost certainly, as far as we can tell, going to be the one for Gemmon and one for the Yuki Onamon, I'm assuming. So is the Yuki Ona line going to be simultaneously like Elysian trait and TB trait? Is this potentially going to be more TB support that we're going to get from that starter, maybe?
So we are going to play Mars. When Digivolve, when on play, give itself 3k to put us as 6k. We're at 17k thanks to Homeros. And then
it's not going to be big enough. He's got to be at least 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an 18k as far as like, is it 18? What is that other thing linked to him? It's too blurry.
I think it's Onmon. It's one of the rookies. It's Onmon, I think. Yeah, so
Onmon.
I think we're at 18k.
How much TP level 3 is?
That is Charismon. But I think we're scooping it up now. Yeah.
Looks like.
We were looking for Monica. We were so desperate for. If we found Monica, I think we'd have been cooking a little bit. Oh, but we'd have to use an option. We got EMS or EPS. Nice. So, G5T takes it today with a reboot, which is exciting. Homie was cooking with the green TS toolbox though. That was kind of cool to watch. Pretty sure that's our finals too, though. So, yeah.
Did we not see anyone play?
There was no TB today.
No TB, no 3 Musk, huh?
No.
Interesting that like Reboot finally got a chance to get like a win here. And
you think TB does well against? You think TB does well against?
3 Musk is the one I'm pointing out.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
That's the obvious one.
Liberator type, Tente. I don't think they're gonna give it Liberator type. Oh, the Kagi and the Rigu going forward will be funny if it follows the. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like giving it the extra trait just cause. That'd be fun. I was surprised they didn't give it to Liberator trait. Honestly, like who cares? Like give those decks more support. Why not?
I mean, thematically it makes sense to not to. These are like different I guess versions of them. Yeah,
but
these are not the same Ryugu.
Yeah, but if you're someone that likes playing fish, do you really care? It's like all Ryugus are the same.
Yeah, if you're playing fish, then you can just play whatever Ryugu you want. They're all aqua.
TB has no outs to reboot. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When you have raid, you could be 20. I think Susan can get to 20k. That's why that's actually why people are teching in the Dan Yuki for I think specifically for this deck.
Again, Charismon, you just protect.
Sure, but You gotta get through it somehow, right?
But I think you have to spend all that memory for Susan, only for it to not even actually out the reboot.
True.
I wonder if we'll probably start seeing reboot do better in general if, say, people start playing less of 3M because of the proliferation of TB decks, right? Or TB players.
Yep. No, that's what I mean. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're saying, right? Like reboot can succeed in this format now. Safaga, I think, is actually like kind of slept on right now because of Three Musketeers moving on its way out. Anything that's just Digimon immune.
I'm thinking of like if reboot has other outs. Like I guess anything that can battle it, be big enough and battle it like multiple times. Like I guess Safaga maybe.
I think they could have done it. The Olympus 12 player here could have done it with Mars. It was just like we just kept getting locked out at the right time, or we couldn't like go into our option to get rush, and then like we couldn't.
Yeah, because you do need rush because you need to be able to battle twice, so you need to be able to go on play battle, on attack battle.
Yep.
And you need to be bigger than 20k, which requires you to have like a lot going on. You need, like,
well, he gives himself 3k, so at the second time you're sitting at, I think you're sitting at 19 at this after the second time.
If you're 3k from the on play.
Oh, sorry, 15. So you're at 18. You're at 18 from the second one, but then you had home roast on the board, so you're 19 after the second one. And then if you had rush, you could actually, and the Dan and Yuki Kanan wasn't stunned, you could battle something 3 times with that board state, which is kind of gross. And he doesn't have raid. I think it's like give it raid.
Bears so that you can get the extra DP and maybe potentially also raid.
Anyway, that's it for the tournament tonight. I'm tired. I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are excited for Naruto. I'm a lot less excited for Naruto, but we'll still. Are you considering Naruto, or is Digimon it for you? I forget what your story is.
Oh, I'm Digimon player because I love Digimon. Probably not. I've never been a big Naruto fan or anything like that, so I'm not interested for that reason. The only thing I'm like even vaguely glancing on it for is because I think it's interesting that it's, you know, the play style is completely different from every other Bandai card game.
That's fair.
But like, I was interested in, I like Gundam, and that wasn't enough for me to even start playing Gundam that consistently either. So I don't know. I just don't have like the time or energy for more than one card game, and Digimon is it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I respect that. Anyway, with that said, guys, we're gonna call it a night. Don't forget Tessero. Tessero's got his own YouTube channel, same name, and also a YouTube channel, same name. So it's on the screen technically. So check him out if you guys haven't. I'm sure you guys have. Honestly, I'm not special. But
you could take a look. I mean, you could take a look, but I haven't been uploading very consistently. I think my last upload was one of those.
Yeah, but you're streaming, right? So it's good to.
Yeah, I'm streaming.
But with that said, it's Eagle's Nest. We had a small day today, so meaning we would like more players at all times. I kind of miss the heydays of Eagle's Nest right now. Of like we were getting like 40 player nights. That junk was crazy.
I mean, we still getting really at least 20 plus, which is like
Mondays still are like 20 plus, right? Yeah, like you guys are still getting a lot of people from Monday. It's the Thursdays that struggle a little bit, but every Monday at 7:30 and every Thursday at 8 p.m. So like definitely looking for more players or just more people in the community. Always love to have it. So come check us out. It's always a fun time.
I think today was just like uniquely going to be a low turnout.
Everyone's at Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con plus, you know, Thursdays are also just in general are already like the side event, or I guess of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And anyway, we're out, guys. A lot of fun conversation as always. Appreciate you guys, and like, share, subscribe. Do you guys think? Tessero had fun, so it's good.